Chapter 647. Ning Fan's body swayed and entered the profound Yin world. He was not in a hurry to refine the Yuanqing pill. Instead, he went to check on Luoyu. Inside the thatched cottage, Luoyu was recuperating while sitting cross-legged. Her cultivation base had already recovered to the peak of the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. If Li Long could find more items that could repair the essence soul in 3 days, Luoyu's cultivation would recover even more. Seeing that Luoyu was safe and sound, Ning Fan felt relieved. He chose a place that was far away from the thatched cottage and sat cross-legged on the dark clouds. He examined the 500 Tao marks of life and death on his primordial spirit and recalled his trip to the immortal Ascension Tower. The unity of heaven and man is truly a terrifying divine ability. The unity of heaven and man was an extreme state. Once one entered it, one's comprehension would instantly rise to an unimaginable height. Including the time he entered the immortal Ascension Pagoda, he had entered this state 3 times in total. For the first time, he traveled thousands of miles with his golden core divine will and attracted the attention of the tablet-wielding celestial emperor, Meng Xuanzi. For the second time, he used his divine transformation realm cultivation base to create his own divine art and borrowed lightning monarch Tai Su's magic power to fight against Mo Luo. For the third time, with his cultivation base at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, he was able to see through life and death with a single glance. With just a single glance, he flattened the entire immortal Ascension Tower. Such a great divine ability could only be found by luck. Even among immortal emperors, not many people could grasp it. After all, this sort of divine ability was closely related to Tao comprehension and Tao fate. If one's Tao wisdom and fate were lacking, then no matter how high one's cultivation was, one would not be fated with this technique. After clearing his mind, Ning Fan took out a golden jade bottle from his storage pouch. The jade bottle had the totem of Yue carved on it. The jade bottle was extraordinary. It was specially made by Palace of Origin to seal 7th Revolution pills. There were 10 Vitality Clear pills in it. The Vital Clarity pill was a low-grade 7th Revolution pill that could greatly improve the spirit sense of a first demolishing cultivator. If a cultivator with 2 broken bones were to take it, the medicinal effect would be halved. If 3 cultivators were to consume it, the medicinal effect would be halved again. So on and so forth. The higher one's cultivation, the worse the effects of consuming this pill. If one's cultivation base reaches the 5th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, the medicinal effect of this pill would be minimal. This was similar to void fragmentation realm cultivators absorbing the power of the Tao crystal to improve their cultivation level. For ordinary cultivators, every time they refined 10 Tao crystals, they could increase their magic power by 1 yuan hui. If it was broken into 2, the effect would be halved. If it was broken by 3, it would be halved. After breaking 5, he would need to absorb 160 Tao crystals to increase his magic power by 1 yuan. The higher one's cultivation level was, the weaker the effect of the Taoist crystal would be. When one reached the life immortal realm, one would be completely unable to absorb the power of the Taoist crystal. Just like the former Rain Sovereign, Yun Zhongshuan, his cultivation base stopped at the 5th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm before he died. He was still 50,000 yuan away from breaking the 6th level. He needed to refine 8 million Tao crystals before he could break through. 8 million Tao crystals were equivalent to 40 trillion immortal jades. This was the wealth that could only be obtained by 10 Rain palaces. It was naturally impossible for the Rain Emperor to use the Tao crystal to break through to the 6th Shatterer level. Thus, he had to find other ways to increase his cultivation level. Ning Fan then took out a slightly smaller golden pill bottle. Inside this pill bottle was an essence clear pill which was given to him by Exalted Dragon Li. To Li Long, the origin clear pill was not essential. After all, his cultivation base had already reached the 7th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. A total of 11 origin clear pills. My spirit sense has a great chance of breaking through to the 2nd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. He took out an origin clear pill from the pill bottle and swallowed it. Then, he began to refine it. With the refinement speed of the profound world that was 100 times faster than in the past, his cultivation base at the void fragmentation realm was naturally very fast. One day passed. Ning Fan had already completely refined 11 origin clear pills. At this moment, there were a total of 11 balls of clear qi in his sea of consciousness. They were slowly fusing into his sea of consciousness. Each time a ball of clear qi fused into his sea of consciousness, Ning Fan's sea of consciousness would become more stable and his spirit sense would also improve greatly. Gradually, Ning Fan's spirit sense reached the peak of the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Gradually, the bottleneck of his spirit sense was broken through by the balls of clear qi. His spirit sense naturally broke through to the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Ning Fan suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes flashed with a bright light. Then, they became reserved. Origin clear pill, huh? It's a good pill. To me, the stronger my spirit sense is, the stronger my combat power will be. It would be great if I can get my hands on the pill recipe of the Origin clear pill. Of course, it would be even better if I can get my hands on more Origin clear pills. Even if he takes the pill recipe away, Li Tsangtian was the only one who could concoct this pill at the moment. Ning Fan's pill refinement mastery was not good enough to concoct it yet. If it's a finished pill that could be consumed directly, it would naturally be better. The Palace of Origin had a deep foundation. There were 7th Revolution pill masters in the palace and they also had quite a number of Origin clear pills. Ning Fan pondered for a while. He had given Li Long 1 trillion immortal jade and he still had 2 trillion immortal jade in his hands. He could not generate more money just by keeping some of it to set up formations. As for the rest, it would be better to use it. If he uses these 2 trillion immortal jade to buy Origin clear pills from the Palace of Origin, he did not know how many Origin clear pills he could buy. If he could not buy too many Origin clear pills, it would also be a good choice to exchange the immortal jade for Dao crystals. After all, Dao crystals could be used for cultivation. Of course, the exchange price was naturally higher than 1 Dao crystal which was worth 5 million immortal jade. After his spirit sense advanced to the next level, Ning Fan meditated for another day to stabilize his spirit sense completely. Then, he flicked his sleeves and took out 10 stones that were as bright as stars. The star stones of the Light Feather clan. Each of the star stones contained a powerful amount of star power. According to Ning Fan's estimation, a star stone could be used to forge 10 natal stars and there would still be some left. 10 of them could be used to forge more than 100 natal stars. If he refines all 10 of them, the number of natal stars he would have would exceed 200. With such a large number of natal stars, his healing speed would naturally be much faster. However, 200 natal stars were still not enough for him to survive the joint attacks of a void fragmentation realm expert. He could only ignore the injuries of a void refinement realm expert. The number of natal stars must be at least 1,000 to be able to instantly heal a void fragmentation realm expert's injuries. In ancient times, many experts of the demon race cultivated the Tao of the starry sky and used starlight to heal their injuries. At that time, the cultivation star cultivation method was once popular. However, most of these cultivation methods were lost in the later generations. Even though I have obtained a great opportunity and comprehended the strongest star healing technique, the Black Star technique, I have yet to obtain any cultivation star cultivation method. Thus, I can't increase the number of my stars through cultivation. I can only passively increase the number of my stars by devouring the star power of heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures when I occasionally encounter opportunities. It's hard to get a copy of a cultivation star cultivation method. I'm afraid that even in the demon spirit land of the upper world, only the true spirit clan has such a cultivation method. 10 star stones hovered around Ning Fan. Ning Fan reached out his hand and sucked one of them into his palm, trying to absorb the power of the starry sky within it. Just as he absorbed a trace of starlight, his expression changed slightly and he stopped absorbing it. He stared at the star stone in his palm with a puzzled look. After tossing the star stone back to the sky, Ning Fan raised his hand and grabbed another star stone. He did not absorb the star power. Instead, he just closed his eyes and sensed the flow of the star power within the star stone. The third, the fourth, the fifth, Ning Fan examined all 10 star stones. Finally, he seemed to have confirmed something. His eyes turned slightly solemn. Interesting. There's actually a trace of extremely weak formation power within the star stones of the Light Feather clan. If I haven't learned the heart formation technique, I'm afraid I won't be able to detect this trace of weak formation power. Each of the 10 star stones contains formation power. Moreover, the direction of the formation power's flow is different. It seems like there's some kind of mystery within them. Someone has left some kind of message within these 10 star stones and concealed it with formation power. Only by combining the 10 star stones into a formation and unlocking the formation power can I obtain the hidden message. Ning Fan looked at the 10 star stones that were hovering around him and gradually fell into deep thought. When these 10 star stones were hovering, they formed 10 moving tracks. Some of them were near while some were far away. Some were high and some were low. With Ning Fan's cultivation base in the Tao of formation, he could tell that these 10 moving tracks were the key to unlocking the formation power. He must place the correct star stones into the correct tracks in order to unravel the formation power. 10 star stones with 10 different tracks. There are a total of 3628800 ways of arranging them. Among them, only one of them is in the correct order. If I try them one by one, it'll take too much time to find the correct order. Ning Fan didn't have a lot of time to arrange the star stones 362 million times. He closed his eyes and activated the heart formation technique to sense the star power veins of the 10 star stones. The way the 10 star stones revolved around Ning Fan was like how 10 guardian stars revolved around a cultivation planet. Each of the 10 star stones had different formation power. The different formation power could be connected from the beginning to the end according to a certain order. For the entire day, Ning Fan didn't open his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, he had already made a conclusion. This star orbit should be this star stone, Ning Fan muttered to himself. He pointed his finger and changed the orbit of 2 of the star stones. This star orbit should be this piece of star stone. After pondering for a while, Ning Fan moved again and kept changing the orbit of the star stones. It was as if he was deducing the movement of the stars in the sky. Gradually, there were already 8 star stones that had their orbits changed by Ning Fan. Ning Fan's gaze shifted to the last 2 star stones. With a flick of his sleeve, he swapped the 2 star stones' orbits. When the 2 stars were swapped, the 10 star stones suddenly flashed at the same time. Then, a massive wave of star power gushed out from the 10 star stones and swept towards Ning Fan. As soon as they were swept by the vast star power, messy and complicated information was immediately transmitted into Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. Ning Fan closed his eyes and tidied up the messy information carefully. At this moment, he felt like he was in the galaxy of the myriad worlds. When the star power gradually dispersed, Ning Fan slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with disbelief. This is the lost cultivation method of the Ice Phoenix clan, Cold Star secret record. The 10 star stones actually contained an ancient cultivation method of the Ice Phoenix clan. The Light Feather clan was basically the descendant of the Ice Phoenix clan. They had been keeping this cultivation method for generations. Unfortunately, there was no one in the Light Feather clan in the mortal world who understood the heart formation technique. Thus, they could not see through the mysteries of the star stones. This star stone was passed down from generation to generation by the clan leaders. However, no one knew exactly how extraordinary it was. Only the real Bai Mu knew. The ancestor of Bai Mu was the old monster who personally sealed the star stones. The Cold Star secret record was passed down from generation to generation in the Whitewood clan. Unfortunately, the Whitewood clan could not decipher the mysteries of the star stones even after generations. Ning Fan stared at the 10 star stones in silence. The Cold Star secret record that he obtained was an extremely profound cultivation method of the star cultivation method. If one cultivates it all the way, one could at most cultivate 100,000 natal stars. The so-called cold star referred to absorbing cold yin qi in a place with extreme yin energy and condensing them into natal stars. The more stars one had, the colder the place of extreme yin energy used for cultivation would be. If an ordinary cultivator could cultivate 100,000 stars, they could probably resist the attacks of a life-immortal realm cultivator without dying. What Ning Fan cultivated was the strongest cultivation method, the black star technique. If he could cultivate 10,000 stars, he would be unscathed even if he was besieged by a life-immortal realm cultivator. If he could cultivate 100,000 stars, he would be able to survive even if he was besieged by a true immortal realm cultivator. If he had 1,000,000 black stars, he would be able to survive even if he was besieged by an immortal emperor in the past. This technique means a lot to me. Ever since Ning Fan obtained the inheritance of the star stones, the formation power of the 10 star stones instantly disappeared. Other than being devoured and refined, they no longer had any other use. Ning Fan held the 10 star stones in his palm. After letting out a sigh, he absorbed all the star power of the 10 star stones. After absorbing all the star power, the number of natal stars in his body had reached 212, which was a lot more than what he expected. After resting for a while, Ning Fan left the profound Yin world in a flash and headed to the 9 upper pavilions. With Tan Zixin's refining speed, the purple-grade fishing rod had already been successfully refined. Of course, Ning Fan came to collect the goods. He did not conceal his speed and rushed to the 9 upper pavilions at the speed of the void fragmentation realm. Along the way, all the old monsters who saw Ning Fan's movement light were filled with respect and fear. A person who could make the palace of Yuan treat him as a distinguished guest, a person who could make the 7 old monsters of the break realm willingly become his servant, and a person who could cultivate the Tao light of life and death was enough to make these old monsters live forever without any hostility. When Ning Fan landed outside the 9 upper pavilions, he saw the master of the 9 upper pavilions standing outside as if he was waiting for him. As soon as he saw Ning Fan, the master of the 9 upper pavilions did not dare to show any neglect. He went forward and cupped his fists respectfully. "Greetings, Senior Bai Mu." The last time Ning Fan came, he revealed his void inquiry stage cultivation base. Thus, he naturally addressed him as a fellow Taoist. Now that Ning Fan had revealed his void fragmentation realm identity, how would he dare to address him as a fellow Taoist? Naturally, he had to address him as a senior. "Pavilion Master, you don't have to be so courteous. I came here today to collect the purple-grade fishing rod. I wonder if Miss Zixin has finished refining the fishing rod." Ning Fan already had a few fishing rods in his hands. All of them were obtained from the Immortal Ascension Tower. However, he was still looking forward to the fishing rod that Tan Zixin refined. After all, her purple-grade fishing rod had always been the best in Tianyuan City. In reply to Senior, Miss Zixin has already finished refining the fishing rod. She has been waiting for you in the main hall for 2 days. Oh. I'm really flattered to be able to make Miss Zixin wait for me for 2 days. Ning Fan was slightly stunned. If he just came to collect the fishing rod, there was no need for Tan Zixin to specially wait for him at all. Is Tan Zixin trying to befriend me on behalf of the Primordial Palace, or does she have other intentions? Recalling the incident where he was tested in the Immortal Ascension Tower, Ning Fan felt that Tan Zixin must have some ulterior motive for waiting for him. He followed the 9 upper pavilions into the pavilion and walked all the way to the main hall. When they arrived at the outside of the hall, the 9 upper pavilions took their leave and allowed Ning Fan to enter alone. Ning Fan stepped into the main hall. At this moment, Tan Zixin's back was facing the door of the hall. She was holding the Separation Slayer sword in her hand and stroking the body of the sword carefully. Her eyes were filled with heartache. "You are a beauty, but why did you become a thief? What a good sword. I'm going to return it to him today." She seemed to be completely focused on the Separation Slayer sword. She did not even notice Ning Fan's arrival. Cough. "It turns out that I'm a thief in Miss Zixin's eyes." Ning Fan purposely let out a few dry coughs to remind Tan Zixin that he had arrived. He did not mind Tan Zixin's words of becoming a thief. He knew that she did not mean any harm. She just felt that he did not cherish the Separation Slayer sword enough. That was why she felt injustice for the sword. Ah! You're here. You heard everything. I didn't mean it. I just casually said a few words. Tan Zixin cursed inwardly. She turned around and looked at Ning Fan awkwardly and nervously. After knowing that Ning Fan had the ability to save the old Yuan Emperor, she was only thinking about how to befriend Ning Fan and beg him to save her grandpa. She didn't expect that Ning Fan would overhear her casual remark. She was really afraid that Ning Fan would feel discontented because of what she had just said. What if Ning Fan was unwilling to save her grandpa because of what she said? Wouldn't she regret it for the rest of her life? Ning Fan chose a seat and sat down. He held up the spiritual tea and took a sip casually. At the same time, he secretly used the mind-reading technique to pry into Tan Zixin's thoughts. With a glance, his expression didn't change, but his heart trembled slightly. Tan Zixin actually wants me to save her grandpa. Moreover, the person she wants to save is the old Yuan Emperor, Tan Tianyan. Chapter 648. I heard that Miss Zixin has finished refining the purple-grade fishing rod. Ning Fan put down the mutton fat jade cup that contained the spiritual tea and asked Tan Zixin with a smile. Seeing Ning Fan's usual smile, Tan Zixin heaved a sigh of relief. She knew that Ning Fan did not mind her nonsense. She returned the Separation Slayer sword to Ning Fan. He carefully stroked the sword and realized that the quality of the sword had improved by a lot. Tan Zixin seemed to cherish this sword very much. He had specially refined it, and its power had increased by quite a bit. I've troubled Miss Zixin. Ning Fan sighed. He had always been negligent in refining his natal magical treasure, but now, even the others could not stand it anymore and wanted to help him refine a magical treasure. As the owner of the magical treasure, he did feel guilty towards the Separation Slayer. It's just a small matter. Senior White, you don't have to take it to heart. Tan Zixin called out, Senior White, in a clear and melodious voice. The refinement of the purple-grade fishing rod has indeed been completed, but it is currently being nurtured in the spirit accumulating pool. It will take about the time it takes for an incense stick to burn before the spirit accumulating pool ends. I have a request that I would like to ask Senior White for help. I hope that Senior White can agree to my request. If Senior White agrees to my request, Purple Heart will agree to any conditions. The rims of Tan Zixin's eyes suddenly reddened. She actually leaned forward and knelt on the ground. Ning Fan's expression changed slightly. He immediately waved his sleeve to stop Tan Zixin from kneeling. He already knew what Tan Zixin wanted to ask of him. It was none other than to help the old primitive emperor heal. If it wasn't for the jade given by the old primitive emperor, Ning Fan definitely wouldn't have the opportunity to pry into the life and death situation inside the Immortal Ascension Tower. Just for the sake of the primitive emperor jade, Ning Fan would also help a group of old primitive emperors. There was no need for Tan Zixin to kneel and beg him. Besides, Ning Fan could tell with just a glance that Tan Zixin was an arrogant woman. However, she was willing to kneel down for the sake of saving her grandfather. This made Ning Fan view her in a different light. Miss Zixin, there's no need to be so courteous. Why don't you tell me what request you have? If it's not something difficult, then I won't refuse. The wind from the sleeve was as light as cotton, but when it blew in front of Zixin, it made her unable to kneel down again. Her eyes were slightly shocked. Obviously, she was shocked by Ning Fan's strength. Although her cultivation was not high, because of the events of the past, her body had already nurtured a trace of yin and yang energy. With the power of yin and yang protecting her body, even second or third heavenly layer void fragmentation realm old monsters would not be able to stop her from kneeling. Senior Bai's strength is indeed as powerful as the rumors say. When Zxian saw that Ning Fan insisted on not letting her kneel, she had no choice but to give up the thought of kneeling. She lowered her head slightly and let out a faint sigh. I wonder if Zixin can tell you a story before I make my request. This story is related to Purple Heart's request. Sure. Ning Fan nodded his head. Tan Zixin's bright eyes were hidden under her bangs. There was a hint of regret in her eyes as she spoke. That was 400 years ago. That year, a young lady from a great clan in the demon realm had just broken through to the nascent soul realm. She's obsessed with the art of refining and doesn't like to cultivate. One day, she heard that an ancient cultivator's ruin was unearthed in the northernmost abyss. In that ruin, there were many lost ancient secret refining techniques. She was warned by her father and grandfather that this place is dangerous and she shouldn't go there. However, she was young and frivolous. She didn't listen to them. She didn't believe them and insisted on trying her luck to find the ancient refining techniques. When the young lady arrived at the ruin, there were already countless cultivators who had begun their journey of treasure hunting. But soon after that, a sleeping poisonous beast suddenly broke out of its demon cocoon and woke up. That poisonous beast didn't have a high cultivation base and was killed by someone else. However, after it died, it released an extremely terrifying poisonous mist that killed all the cultivators in the ruin. The young lady was poisoned as well. She was supposed to be dead, but her grandfather came and rescued her corpse. Her grandfather had failed to become an immortal countless times and was forced to cultivate as a rogue demon. It wasn't easy for him to get the chance to become an immortal and was almost at the last step of becoming an immortal. However, in order to save his granddaughter, he didn't hesitate to destroy the Tao mark of life and death on his demon soul to revive the young lady who had just died not long ago. After that, he used a great divine ability to transfer all the poison in the young lady's body into his own body. 400 years have passed. The young lady's grandfather lost the chance to become an immortal and almost died from the torture of the poison. The one who should die is that young lady, not her grandfather. Senior Bai, if the young lady found out that there's a person who can save her grandfather's life, should she do everything she can to ask that person to help? What should she do to make that senior save her grandfather? Tan Zixin raised her head and looked at Ning Fan with sorrow. She knew that Ning Fan could understand this story. However, she didn't know if Ning Fan would agree to her request to save her grandfather. She regretted that she was young and ignorant and didn't listen to the advice of her elders. If Ning Fan didn't agree to help her, her grandfather would surely die and she would regret it for the rest of her life. Miss Zixin, you hope that I can save your grandfather, right? Ning Fan looked at Tan Zixin noncommittally. Yes. As long as Senior agrees to this request, Zixin will do everything, any request. I will do it. She bit her lips and said resolutely, like a heroine who was about to go to the execution ground. She had already decided that as long as Ning Fan was willing to save her grandfather, she would agree to any request. Whether it was pills, cultivation methods, heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures or even her body, no matter what request I make, you will agree to it? Ning Fan's gaze swept across Tan Zixin's delicate body. Tan Zixin's cheeks blushed. She gritted her teeth and lowered her head. Yes, then, I will boldly make a request to Miss Zixin. I don't like to see women crying. Can you give me a smile? Ning Fan retracted his gaze and smiled faintly. That scorching gaze of his was teasing Tan Zixin. Ah! Tan Zixin was stunned. Her expression was very cute. She was prepared to agree to any request, but Ning Fan gave her a request that she had never thought of. What did Senior say? I don't think I heard it clearly. I said, can you smile at me? Am I that scary? Why do all of you have such an expression when you see me? Ning Fan was speechless. He began to regret borrowing Bai Mu's identity. Hua Yu thought that he was a peerless nightmare devil who wanted to jump into the fire pit to save her sisters. Tan Zixin also thought that he was an unbearable person and was prepared to sacrifice herself at any time. Although Ning Fan was not a kind person, he did not seem to have bullied that girl whom he had no enmity with, right? Did he look like a bully who took advantage of others? Smile. What smile? Tan Zixin blinked her eyes, still unable to react. Forget it. Pretend that I didn't say anything. I will agree to help you save the old Yuan Emperor. However, I don't have much confidence in saving him. As for the specifics, I will have to see the condition of his body with my own eyes to know. Ning Fan did not continue to tease Tan Zixin, nor did he make any unreasonable request. He did not lack spirit-severing cauldrons, so he did not need Tan Zixin to sacrifice herself. Even though he lacked origin-clear pills, he would not use this matter to ask for it. Saving Tan Tianyan was to return the favor to him. Ning Fan would not ask for anything else. Of course, Ning Fan would buy origin-clear pills from Palace Yuan after the matter was resolved. He would not owe Palace Yuan any favors anymore. It was easy to owe a favor but difficult to return it. Senior, are you really willing to save me? Thank you so much, Senior. Senior is truly the warmest and kind-hearted person I've ever met. We've only met once, yet you're willing to help me. You're truly a good person. Slap. A big good person card was thrown on Ning Fan's face. Just a second ago, she called Ning Fan a thief. In the next second, she became a good person. Tan Zixin smiled through her tears and rushed to Ning Fan's front happily like a cheerful purple cuckoo. Under the purple and white striped headscarf, her beautiful face was indescribably beautiful when she smiled. Indeed, women were the most beautiful when they smiled. When a woman cries or throws a tantrum, she would be like a ferocious beast of the desolate era. Am I a good person? Ning Fan touched his chin. He really could not tell which part of him looked like a good person. He slowly rose to his feet and said to Tan Zixin, "Let's take a look at the fishing rod first. After that, I will accompany you to see the old Yuan Emperor and treat his injuries. Is that okay?" Yes. Of course. Zixin will bring Senior to the spiritual pool to get the fishing rod. Senior, please follow me. Ning Fan followed Tan Zixin out of the main hall and walked towards the weapon refinement workshop. Then, they passed through the workshop and arrived at Tan Zixin's personal refining room. The underground of this refining room had been hollowed out by someone. A massive spiritual pool was built there. If ordinary magic treasures were to gather their spirit here, there would be a certain chance for them to give birth to a weapon spirit. She actually nurtured a weapon spirit for a mere fishing rod. It was enough to show that she had put a lot of effort into refining this fishing rod. Along the way, Tan Zixin told Ning Fan about the extraordinary features of this fishing rod. This fishing rod was different from ordinary fishing rods. It was not casually refined by her. Ordinary purple-grade fishing rods could only be used tens of times. Because they were refined in a rush, their durability was not high. After all, ordinary old monsters would only have 1 or 2 chances to fish dragons in the dragon fishing convention. They would not wear out a fishing rod like this. However, Ning Fan's fishing rod was different from ordinary fishing rods. It was a semi-finished fishing rod that Tan Zixin had spent 400 years to refine. It was unknown how many heavenly materials and earthly treasures she had used in the entire refining process. The cost was at least tens of billions of immortal jade. There was no limit to the durability of this fishing rod. It was a mid-grade immortal void realm magic treasure named Taigong Fishing. During these few days, Tan Zixin had completed the last step of refining this treasure. Not only could this treasure be used to fish dragons, but it could also be used as a magic treasure to fight against humans. It was especially effective against demon cultivators with dragon bloodline. Dragon cultivators below the life immortal realm could almost be captured alive with a single strike. There was an immortal-grade spirit iron attached to this treasure. Its ability was called Dragon Subduing. That piece of spirit iron was the only one in the entire demon world. It was extremely precious, but Tan Zixin managed to find it. It was difficult to estimate the value of that piece of spirit iron using immortal jade. Thus, it was not included in the cost. Otherwise, the cost of this Taigong fishing would be frighteningly high. According to rumors, a piece of immortal-grade, dragon-subduing, spirit iron in the four heavens was priced at around 2 million Dao crystals. It was equivalent to 10 trillion immortal jade in the lower world. Even though it was expensive, once the dragon-subduing spirit iron appears, life immortal realm and true immortal realm old monsters would certainly fight for it. Most of those who fought for it were prepared for the realm war. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with astonishment. Even though he had high expectations for the fishing rod that Tan Zixin refined, he did not expect her to be so generous as to attach the dragon-subduing ability to the fishing rod. With this fishing rod, Ning Fan could fish any ferocious dragon in the dragon fishing convention without any pressure. If he encounters a demon cultivator with dragon bloodline in the future, he would only need to use the fishing rod to subdue and capture the enemy alive. Even if the enemy was a rogue demon, it would still be futile. Tan Zixin's original purpose of making such a sharp fishing rod for Ning Fan was to catch the legendary Yin Dragon and Yang Dragon. We've arrived at the spiritual pool. Tan Zixin led Ning Fan to the entrance of the underground forbidden area and went all the way down. There was a stone chamber 1 million zhang below the ground. The walls of the stone chamber were filled with a type of spiritual or called Dao spirit stone, which gave off an extremely dense spiritual qi. In the middle of the stone chamber was a gigantic stone pond. The water in the pond was pure golden in color and there was a seal outside the pond. A purplish golden fishing rod was submerged in the water of the stone pond. It was 24 zhang long and the patterns of the 24 constellations were engraved on it. Within the fishing rod, there was a spiritual sense that was on the verge of bursting out and it was gradually rising. The fishing rod was glowing with a faint light. Although the light seemed weak, it was enough to suppress any dragon cultivator below the life immortal realm. So this treasure is called the Taigong fishing rod. What a strong dragon subduing qi! Ning Fan praised. When he saw this fishing rod, he was almost eager to try it out. He wanted to use this fishing rod to catch a demonic dragon. The artifact spirit of this Taigong fishing rod seems to have been successfully molded. Senior, please wait for a moment. Let Zixin open the seal of the spiritual pool and take out the fishing rod. Tan Zixin patted the brocade pouch on her waist and took out a golden hammer that was even bigger than her body as if she was performing a magic trick. Then, she smashed it at the seal of the spiritual pool. The grade of the golden hammer was not high but it had an immortal void-grade spiritual iron attached to it. Its ability was called seal breaking, which specialized in breaking all kinds of seals. Even though the seal was at the grade of an immortal void-grade formation, it was still broken by the golden hammer. Tan Zixin kept the golden hammer and let out a soft breath. Then, she smiled at Ning Fan and said, Zixin has embarrassed myself in front of Senior, you're flattering me. Ning Fan did not know how to laugh. Such a delicate young lady actually used a giant hammer to break the seal of an immortal void-grade formation. It would only shock people but not make them laugh. Tan Zixin approached the spiritual pool and pretended to take the fishing rod. All of a sudden, an unforeseen event happened. An extremely cold and sharp aura force suddenly spread out from the fishing rod. Undisguised killing intent suddenly locked onto Tan Zixin. What a ferocious magic treasure! Ning Fan's expression changed. Before Tan Zixin could react, he had already taken a step forward. He held her slender waist and retreated. In the spiritual pool, the purple-grade fishing rod had already transformed into a purplish-golden giant bird with nascent wings. Its eyes were ferocious as it dashed towards Tan Zixin. Chapter 649. Tan Zixin's cheeks instantly turned red when Ning Fan hugged her waist tightly. Only then did she see that the Taigong fish, which had transformed into an artifact spirit, had transformed into a demon and wanted to kill her. Knowing that Ning Fan was trying to save her, Tan Zixin did not break free from Ning Fan's embrace. She also did not blame Ning Fan for being frivolous. Instead, she was very grateful for his help. If it wasn't for Ning Fan who saved her, she would most likely have died under the surprise attack of Tai Gongyu. Ning Fan retreated continuously. The purple-golden primordial wings that were transformed from the Tai Gong fish also spread its wings and chased after him. Its speed was not inferior to Ning Fan's at all. In fact, it was even slightly faster than him. In the blink of an eye, he was about to be clawed by the purple-gold origin wings. Suddenly, Ning Fan stopped in his tracks. His left eye emitted a vast demonic aura. Mere vile spawn, you don't know when to back off. You're courting death. Illusion. The second monster star in his left eye was activated on its own. In an instant, layers of illusions appeared and bewitched the purple-gold wings. Illusory techniques were practically useless against cultivators with tenacious Dao hearts, but they were effective against an artifact spirit with low intelligence. When the purple-gold wings met Ning Fan's eyes, they immediately fell into layers of illusions. Their gigantic bodies fell from the sky and fell to the ground. Their eyes were filled with fear. In the illusion, it saw countless ferocious demons comparable to life immortals and true immortals chasing after it. It didn't know how to break the illusion. Its intelligence was too low. It was just a spirit, show your true form. Holding Tan Zixin in his arms, Ning Fan leaped into the sky and stomped on the ground. A kick attack that was comparable to the first sky of Nirvana realm directly shattered the purple-gold origin wing's spiritual body. It returned to the form of a magical treasure and turned back into a fishing rod. Ning Fan landed on the ground and kept the fishing rod in his hand. Then, he said with a cold and stern look in his eyes. From today onwards, I am your master. If you dare to betray your master, I will destroy your treasure. Seal. Without giving the Tai Gong fish a chance to reject him, Ning Fan let go of Tan Zixin and directly bit his finger. He dripped a drop of his blood onto the fishing rod, turning it into a rune. Then, he planted the rune on the fishing rod and completed the process of recognizing it as its master, turning it into his natal magic treasure. This treasure was mixed with some immemorial star iron and could barely be considered a 2-star divine weapon. It also had the power to suppress dragons. As a natal Dharma treasure, it could only be strong. Thank you for saving me, Senior, Tan Zixin thanked him with a blush. Ning Fan attacked in a domineering manner. Within a few breaths, he subdued the spirit of Tai Gong's fishing artifact. His powerful means made Tan Zixin raise her eyebrows. This was the artifact spirit of an intermediate immortal void-grade magic treasure. Even some Shatter 5 old monsters would not be able to subdue it. The soft waist that was touched by Ning Fan could still feel the residual warmth of his arm. Tan Zixin's heart raced as she recalled the earlier scene. She was slightly dazed. This was the first time she had been hugged by a man. It's just a small matter, there's no need to thank me. Now that this treasure has been subdued, the matter in my heart has been resolved. Let me immediately follow Miss Zixin to meet the old primitive emperor. Tan Zixin, who was in a daze like a wooden puppet, did not hear Ning Fan's words. Ning Fan activated his mind-reading technique speechlessly to pry into Tan Zixin's thoughts. He discovered that Tan Zixin's mind was constantly thinking about being hugged by someone. Her heart was already in a mess, and she was in a daze. After a while, Tan Zixin finally recovered from her bewitched state. She blushed even more. What did Senior just say? She asked in confusion. Let's go and meet the old primitive emperor now. All right. Do you want to walk by yourself or do you want me to carry you? Ning Fan teased. I will walk by myself. Senior, please follow me. Her face became even redder. With a flash of light, she brought Ning Fan away from the profound spirit pool and flew towards the main hall of the Yuan Palace. She did not want to be carried by Ning Fan again. Probably, Tan Zixin's expression gradually returned to normal as they flew towards the Yuan Palace. She buried the memory of her blushing face and heartbeat deep in her heart. She did not forget that treating her grandpa's injuries was the most important matter at this moment. She should not let her imagination run wild like this. Ning Fan slowed down his speed and followed behind Tan Zixin at a moderate speed. The charming moment just now had already been thrown to the back of Ning Fan's mind. His mind was thinking about Tan Tianyan's injuries. A poison that could injure Tan Tianyan must be very powerful. He wondered if he could neutralize this poison and successfully treat Tan Tianyan's injuries. Greetings, Miss. Greetings, old ancestor Bai Mu. The cultivators guarding the entrance of the Yuan Palace saw Tan Zixin coming from afar. They immediately took a few steps forward and cupped their fists to greet her. When they saw Ning Fan standing behind Tan Zixin, all of them were surprised. Didn't Miss never talk to any man? Why would she travel with old ancestor Bai Mu? Moreover, that person was still in the Yuan Palace today. It seemed inappropriate for Miss to travel with a man like this. That person was here for Miss's marriage. This was already the third time he had proposed. If that person saw Miss traveling with old ancestor Bai Mu, he would definitely be furious. Old ancestor Bai Mu might be powerful, but that person's background was even more powerful. Dispense with the formalities. I want to see my grandpa. Is he in the palace? Tan Zixin landed on the ground and asked the guard indifferently. Replying to Miss, old Yuan Emperor is not out. He is meditating in the Yang Xian Palace. Alright, I got it. You guys can leave now. I want to bring Senior Bai Mu to see my grandpa. Inform the entire palace that no one is allowed to disturb him in the Yang Xian Palace. Yes. Miss, please wait. This subordinate has another matter to report. What is it? That upper demon has come to propose again. He is waiting for you in the Heaven Fusion Palace, hoping to meet you. The guard said with a hint of fear. Why is he here again? I don't want to see him. Tan Zixin frowned slightly. The one who came to propose was an upper demon at the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. He was a cultivator from the demon spirit land of the upper world. He was born in the Yellow Dragon clan, a branch of the True Dragon clan. 200 years ago, when he descended to the demon world, he had met Tan Zixin once. Normally, this person would not pay attention to Tan Zixin. However, when he saw that Tan Zixin's body contained a trace of yin-yang power, he immediately paid attention to her. In the past 200 years, he had proposed to Tan Zixin twice. Both of them were rejected by her. At that time, Tan Zixin regretted that the old Yuan Emperor was injured and asked this person if he could save the old Yuan Emperor. If this person was willing to help, she would consider marrying him. However, that person said that the old Yuan Emperor's injuries were too severe. Only the middle-grade 8th revolution pill of the Yellow Dragon clan could save him. The price was too great. He would not spend such a precious pill for a mere rogue demon from the lower world. This person actually said that my grandfather is a mere rogue demon from the lower world. Even if I die, I will not marry him. Tan Zixin's eyes were filled with disgust. It was rare for her to hate someone. However, that demon cultivator from the upper world was just too annoying. A demon cultivator from the upper world of the Yellow Dragon clan? Ning Fan used his mind-reading technique and saw through Tan Zixin's thoughts. Even though he had seen through her thoughts, he did not ask any questions. To Ning Fan, Tan Zixin's marriage did not have much to do with him. He also had no right to comment on it. The two of them stepped into the Primordial Palace and directly headed towards the Heart-Nurturing Palace. When the cultivators they met along the way saw Tan Zixin and Ning Fan traveling together, all of them wore surprised expressions. Miss Zixin really doesn't like Senior Cheng Huang. Could it be that the one she likes is old ancestor Bai Mu? Only when they arrived at the Golden Lotus Pond outside the Heart-Nurturing Palace did they stop talking. Because the Golden Lotus Pond was very close to the Heart-Nurturing Palace, everyone had already left after Tan Zixin gave the order. Moreover, a restrictive formation was activated in this place, covering the few courtyards around the Heart-Nurturing Palace. Outsiders would not be able to sense what was happening here at all. The discussions along the way still could not escape from Tan Zixin and Ning Fan's ears. Ning Fan's expression remained the same while Tan Zixin's cheeks turned slightly red. She explained to Ning Fan with some embarrassment. The cultivators of my primordial palace don't know what's good and bad about Senior. Please forgive us. Who is Qin Huang? Ning Fan deliberately asked with a smile. He is a person who thinks highly of himself. He is not comparable to Senior. Senior is a good person. He isn't. Tan Zixin's expression was a little unnatural. She did not know why, but she did not want Ning Fan to know that someone had proposed to her before. Perhaps she was afraid that Ning Fan would be angry and ignore her because of this matter. I'm not a good person. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. Just when he was about to say something, his eyes suddenly narrowed and he stopped walking. Tan Zixin also stopped walking because a yellow-robed figure was walking towards them from the other side of the Golden Lotus Pond. Miss Zixin, what do you mean? In what way can this dragon son be inferior to this ant? It was a handsome young man in yellow robes. His cultivation base was at the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. However, it seemed like he had just broken through to the next level not long ago. His cultivation base had yet to stabilize. The corner of his mouth hung a cold smile. His eyes were as sharp and gloomy as an eagle's. His name was Qin Huang. He was born in the Yellow Dragon clan. He was one of the 12 dignified dragon sons of the current generation. The Yellow Dragon clan was the weakest branch among the 10,000 true dragon clans. The strongest among them was just a life immortal realm expert at the human profound realm. In the demon spirit land of the upper world, the Yellow Dragon clan was nothing. However, in the lower world, the Yellow Dragon clan was considered as a colossus. What he fancied about Tan Zixin was the trace of yin and yang power within her body. It was not her body. There was a secret technique in the Yellow Dragon clan that could only be cultivated by a woman who possessed yin and yang power at the same time. Once the technique is successfully cultivated, the cultivator would have the chance to become an immortal in this lifetime. He would even have a chance to cross the true bridge and become a true immortal. Even though he had been rejected by Tan Zixin twice, he was not discouraged. This time, he came here for the third time. He brought a high-grade 7th revolution pill with him. This pill was not enough to cure the old Yuan Emperor. However, it could alleviate his injuries and help him live for another 100 years. He finally realized that the reason why he had failed twice was because he did not understand Tan Zixin's thoughts. Tan Zixin respected her grandfather the most. Yet, he had spoken rudely to her. Of course, he had angered her. This time, he had learned his lesson. He was still reluctant to use the precious pill of his clan to save a rogue demon from the lower world. However, he also showed some sincerity in an attempt to move Tan Zixin's heart. He did not expect to be rejected by the old Yuan Emperor when he arrived at the Origin Palace this time. Then, he saw Tan Zixin walking with another man. What an ungrateful woman. Qin Huang's heart was filled with coldness. If it wasn't because Tan Zixin possessed a trace of yin and yang power, why would he lower his status and pursue a female cultivator from the lower world who had yet to attain the void refinement realm? There's nothing about you that you can't compare to him. I still have important matters to attend to right now. I need to bring an important guest to meet my grandfather. I won't entertain Senior Qin Huang. Tan Zixin winked at Ning Fan, signaling him to ignore Qin Huang and go straight to the Cultivation Heart Palace to meet the old Yuan Emperor. Just as the two of them wanted to walk past Qin Huang blocked their way. Is he the important guest of your Origin Palace? Bai Mu, is it? I recognize you and I've also heard of your great name. Why? Didn't you bring that useless Tan Longzi with you this time? Qin Huang sneered disdainfully. Tan Longzi had the bloodline of the Yellow Dragon. Thus, he could be considered as a member of the Yellow Dragon clan. However, Tan Longzi did not have the pride of the Yellow Dragon clan. Instead, he acknowledged Ning Fan as his master. Of course, Chen Huang looked down on him. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly cold. Since when did his servant become a joke to an outsider? Yes. He's Senior Bai Mu. He's my grandfather's important guest. Please step aside. Tan Zixin's pretty face turned slightly cold. Is he really Bai Mu? Chen Huang suddenly sneered and looked at Ning Fan with a hint of mockery. Several thousand years ago, he had taken in a demon servant who possessed the green yang physique. With his help, that person had broken through to the second destruction realm by relying on the seven yang physique. That person told him that the Bai Mu in front of him was a fake. That person even told him that the Bai Mu in front of him had the star stone of the White Feather clan. Ning Fan's eyes turned grim again. This Chen Huang seemed to be very sure that he was not Bai Mu. Bai Mu, you have Tan Longzi as your servant and the support of the Yuan Palace. Everyone in the world is afraid of you, but I'm not afraid of you at all. Do you know that you have offended me in 2 ways? If you can do these 2 things, I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, I'll make sure your blood splatters all over this place and you die in the Golden Lotus Pond. 2 things. Ning Fan sneered. First, stay away from Tan Zixin. Second, hand over the star stone of the White Feather clan. If you can do these 2 things, I'll show you mercy and pardon you. Otherwise, you must die today. Chen Huang, you've gone too far. What does it have to do with you whether he stays away from me or not? What right do you have to interfere? The star stone of the White Feather clan originally belongs to the White Feather clan. It belongs to Bai Mu. What right do you have to seize his possession? Tan Zixin defended Ning Fan. Why? Because he's not Bai Mu. Because he's just an ant in the lower world. He can't afford to offend me. Chen Huang sneered. Ning Fan did not say anything else. The cold light in his eyes gradually faded. Even though the cold light disappeared, his killing intent became even more terrifying. Chen Huang, is it? Do you know that you have also offended me in 2 ways? First, my servant is not someone you can insult. Second, my treasures are not something you can covet. I'll give you 3 breaths. If you leave now, I can spare your life. Ning Fan's black eyes were like a bottomless devil abyss. He looked at Chen Huang as if he was looking at a dead man. Hee. You actually dare to threaten me with your first heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivation base. Interesting. Interesting. Rumor has it that you single-handedly defeated everyone at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm and even defeated old monster Dong Lin who was at the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Unfortunately, I don't believe such lies at all. 1. I don't believe that your cultivation base is that high. I also don't believe that you dare to kill me. My Yellow Dragon clan is a dignified clan in the upper world. It's not something you can afford to offend. 2. Bai Mu. No. Fake Bai Mu. Why are you putting on airs here? You don't dare to kill me at all. If you know what's good for you, hand over the star stones and stay away from Tan Zixin. If you don't, I'll definitely kill you like a dog. 3. Before Chen Huang could finish his nonsense, Ning Fan's killing intent was already triggered. At this moment, his eyes shone with bloody light. A terrifying baleful qi suddenly enveloped the entire Golden Lotus Pond. The baleful qi avoided Tan Zixin but it did not avoid Chen Huang. The moment Chen Huang sensed the baleful qi, his expression changed drastically. What a strong baleful qi! Among this baleful qi, there is even the baleful qi formed by the deaths of 7th and 8th fragmentation realm cultivators. How is this possible? You've killed 7th and 8th fragmentation realm cultivators before. How absurd. Ning Fan did not say much. He just took a step forward and shattered the void with a flick of his finger, absorbing all the souls in the void. His aura force rose steadily. With just a single step, it rose to the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Moreover, His aura force was 2 times stronger than an ordinary third fragmentation realm cultivator. This was the benefit brought by the advancement of his spirit sense. With the improvement of his spirit sense, the strength of his sense soul incarnation would greatly increase along with Ning Fan's combat power. Ning Fan, who had turned into black robes, seemed to have become a domineering and cruel devil lord. If the Yellow Dragon clan was slightly stronger, Ning Fan would still be a little fearful. Unfortunately, the Yellow Dragon clan was just a small clan in the upper world. There was nothing to be afraid of at all. The threat it posed was far less than the White Devil sect and the Jade Dao sect behind He Shirshio. Ning Fan did not waste any time. He directly took a step forward and his body turned into black shadows that dispersed. The moment he displayed this ability, Chen Huang felt a sense of imminent death. Without any hesitation, he retreated and summoned his dark yellow dragon scales to protect his body. At the next moment, the black shadows suddenly appeared in all directions like blades and swords, charging at him. What kind of ability is this? This is bad. My dragon scales aren't strong enough to defend against this technique. Just as this thought flashed across his mind, the dragon scales on the surface of his body had already turned into powder and disappeared. His physical body was unreservedly attacked by the Black Tempest's soul-splitting technique. Chen Huang had just broken through to the third break realm and his cultivation base had yet to stabilize. His strength was far weaker than old monster Dong Lin. On the other hand, Ning Fan's spirit sense and strength had increased tremendously. He was much stronger than when he defeated old monster Dong Lin. Amidst the layers of black shadows, Chen Huang suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. His physical body was continuously shredded into minced meat by the black shadows. He was afraid. He was terrified. He did not expect that there would be an ant in the demon world in the lower world who would dare to attack him. How dare he offend the Yellow Dragon clan? Bai Mu, stop now. If you dare to kill me, there will no longer be a place for you in the demon world. Chen Huang threatened Ning Fan while trembling in fear. His threat was insignificant to Ning Fan because he did not need to establish a foothold in the demon world at all. Destroy. The black shadows condensed again and Ning Fan appeared. Chen Huang let out a blood-curdling scream and turned into a pile of minced meat, dirtying the beautiful golden lotus pond. Ning Fan kept Chen Huang's storage pouch and scanned through it briefly. Then, he frowned slightly. There was nothing inside that could interest him. After dispersing his black robes and dispelling the soul-extracting technique, Ning Fan said indifferently to Tan Zixin. Let's go and meet the old Yuan Emperor. Ning Fan had killed countless people along the way. This Chen Huang was just one of them that was not worth mentioning. You'll get into trouble if you kill him. The upper world has an order that life immortals are not allowed to descend to the demon world, including the old ancestor of the Yellow Dragon clan. However, there are a few rogue demons in the Yellow Dragon clan who can descend to the demon world to avenge this person. At this moment, Tan Zixin was not concerned about Chen Huang's death but Ning Fan's safety. This was something that even she herself did not realize. I know. That's why I killed him. The rogue demons of the Yellow Dragon clan, huh? Have you forgotten that you became my great-grandfather Fish? That's the dragon suppressing supreme treasure. I'll kill as many rogue demons as you come. Why you? Tan Zixin was speechless. Other than Ning Fan, none of the demon cultivators in the lower world dared to look down on the large clans of the upper world. It seemed like the fishing rod she made for Ning Fan was going to become his weapon to destroy the Yellow Dragon clan. Let's get someone to clean up the Golden Lotus Pond. Senior Tan. Ning Fan suddenly said to a place where there was no one else around. Tan Tianyan was stunned. Then, he slowly revealed himself. He had actually arrived at the Golden Lotus Pond a long time ago. Tan Tianyan had always disliked those large clans of the upper world who thought highly of themselves. Initially, he wanted to help Ning Fan when he was in danger by blocking Chen Huang's attack. However, he did not expect that Ning Fan would take Chen Huang's life in just a single exchange. I'll naturally send someone to clean up this place. I'll also try my best to cover up the fact that you killed Qing Huang. However, do you know that the Yellow Dragon clan has a secret technique? If a member of the Yellow Dragon clan kills someone, as long as they recite the name of the murderer in their heart before they die, the name will be transmitted to the clan. Currently, most of the members of the Yellow Dragon clan already know that there's a person called Bai Mu in the lower world who killed one of their 12 dragon sons. Perhaps there will be void fragmentation realm experts or even rogue demons who will descend to the lower world to capture you. I wonder if Qing Huang ever called out your name when he died. The old primitive emperor showed a hint of concern. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Ning Fan said disapprovingly. Even if Qing Huang did call out something, it would probably be Bai Mu. Since his true name was not exposed, no one in the Yellow Dragon clan would know that the murderer was the divine sovereign of the Rain World. Senior, thank you for lending me the jade. I've gained a lot of Tao comprehension in the Immortal Ascension Tower. Today, I came here to take a look at Senior's injuries and find a way to solve them. That way, I can repay Senior for lending me the jade. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out the primitive emperor jade, returning it to the old primitive emperor. His eyes swept across the old primitive emperor's body and his expression became slightly grim. The old primitive emperor's injuries were much more serious than what he had expected. The Yellow Dragon clan in the demon spirit land of the upper world. Inside the clan temple, one of the life plates of the 12 dragon sons suddenly broke. The broken life plate belonged to Qing Huang. How did Qing Huang die? Who can tell me what's going on? One of the rogue demons guarding the clan temple, the Yellow Dragon clan, was enraged. After all, Qing Huang was his junior. Who was so audacious to kill his descendant? Bai Mu. Which bastard is Bai Mu? I want to find him and tear him into pieces. Chapter 650. The old primitive emperor shook his body and transformed into Qing Huang. He walked out of the palace of Yuan cursing and flew away from Tianyuan City. No one knew where he went. Many people in Heaven Origin City who knew Qing Huang's identity had witnessed Qing Huang leaving Heaven Origin City. The old primitive emperor was moving the crime scene of Qing Huang's murder. Ning Fan did not say much. He sat opposite Tan Zixin in the Yang Xian Palace Hall, waiting for the old Yuan emperor to return. Now, do you still think that I'm a good person? Ning Fan asked Tan Zixin with a smile. I don't know. Tan Zixin shook her head. She was still shaken by the scene just now. It was impossible for her not to be shocked that a cultivator from the upper realm had died in front of her. However, she was too concerned about Ning Fan's safety that she forgot to be shocked. Ning Fan was a devil lord. If he has the intention to kill, he would not show any mercy at all and he would not have any scruples. As for her, could she be considered as Ning Fan's accomplice? I don't know. However, when Ning Fan wields the Tai Gong fishing rod and kills a dragon in 10 steps in the future, she would certainly be his accomplice. After all, that was the magical treasure that she refined. That Tai Gong fishing is for you to fish dragons. Do you understand? Tan Zixin said seriously. Yes, I understand. The Great Elder fishing technique can catch dragons and also slay them. It can even eliminate the yellow dragon that has gone too far. I really look forward to a great battle to test the power of the Great Elder fishing technique. Ning Fan said seriously. That's not what I meant. Sigh, you don't understand. Tan Zixin was a little depressed. She really wanted to say to Tai Gongyu, you are a beautiful man, but why did you become a thief? The Tai Gong fish was supposed to be a fishing rod used to catch dragons. However, when it fell into Ning Fan's hands, it would one day become a dragon-slaying supreme treasure. Hee, I've made you wait for a long time. This old man is back. After a long time, the old Yuan emperor returned to the Yangxin palace with a flash of light. Today, the old primitive emperor didn't wear a fisherman's attire. Instead, he wore an old gray robe, which was very simple. He walked into the Yang Exine Palace step by step. Every step he took would cause his primordial spirit to tremble slightly. The trembling came from the life and death Tao patterns on his Yuan Shen. The old primitive emperor had almost seen through life and death. Every step he took was accompanied by life and death. The reason why he was stronger than Ning Fan's rogue devil was because of the Tao of life and death. Currently, the rogue devil's Tao of life and death was almost non-existent. Ning Fan could see through this mystery. However, those who have yet to attain the Tao unification realm with their primordial spirits would definitely not be able to see through it. Tan Zixin, of course, could not see through it. She could not feel the life and death aura of the old primitive emperor at this moment. Senior Tan is indeed a person who has taken half a step into the immortal path. You can decide life and death with just a single step. It's really impressive. Ning Fan praised and rose to his feet. This old man has lived for so many years, so it's only natural that my comprehension of the Tao of life and death is deeper than yours. With little friend's aptitude, it's only a matter of time before you surpass this old man in 10,000 years. Among this generation's heroes, you are the most outstanding person this old man has ever seen. Especially in terms of temperament, this old man is quite congenial with you. That Qin Huang, well done, well done. If I was like you, with few ties in the demon realm, I would have killed Qin Huang long ago. The son of the Yellow Dragon clan is nothing to me. If it wasn't because of my injuries, I would have attained the life immortal realm long ago. Even the clan leader of the Yellow Dragon clan would be afraid of me. The old primitive emperor's eyes flashed with a hint of heroic spirit. However, when he thought of his injuries and realized that he probably had no hope of attaining the immortal realm, he sighed and shook his head. Grandpa. Don't worry. Your injuries can definitely be cured. Senior Bai will definitely be able to cure you. Tan Zixin's eyes turned red all of a sudden. Silly girl. I have already seen through life and death. Why would I be obsessed with my own life and death? I have no regrets if I can save your life. I'm just worried that the Yuan Palace will decline after my death. The old primitive emperor's expression suddenly turned serious and said to Tan Zixin. Zixin, you can go out first. I have something to tell little friend Bai. Yes. Tan Zixin gave Ning Fan a pleading look. Her eyes were begging him to treat the old primitive emperor's injuries with all his might. Ning Fan gave her a reassuring look. Then, she walked out of the Yang Exine Palace and stood quietly outside the palace, waiting for the result of the treatment. Senior, do you have something to tell me? Is it related to Miss Zixin? Ning Fan asked with a smile. Hee hee. Little friend, what do you think of my granddaughter? The old primitive emperor smiled meaningfully. She's very good. However, we might not be fated. Senior should know that I'm a cultivator of the rain world and my main cultivation isn't demon. Ning Fan said without changing his expression. Sigh. Little friend, don't you plan to ascend to the demon spirit land in the future? The old primitive emperor revealed a regretful look. In fact, he did not have much confidence in Ning Fan's ability to cure his injuries. However, he fancied Ning Fan's strength and character. Thus, he wanted to entrust the entire Yuan Palace to Ning Fan before he dies. If Ning Fan ascends to the demon spirit land in the future, he would also help the juniors of the Yuan Palace. At least, he could help Zixin ascend. However, Ning Fan's intention was also very clear. He was a cultivator of the rain world. He would return to the rain world eventually and would not stay in the demon world for a long time. His main cultivation wasn't demon. Thus, he probably wouldn't choose the demon spirit land in the upper world for his ascension. Ning Fan could not agree to the old primitive emperor's request. Let me examine Senior's injuries first. Senior, please take a seat. Ning Fan sat down and stretched out two of his fingers. His fingers were wrapped with black medicine soul power and he placed them on the old primitive emperor's wrist. The black medicine soul seeped into the old primitive emperor's body and examined his internal injuries. Ning Fan's eyes became darker and darker while the old primitive emperor was shocked. This young man is actually a high-grade 6th Revolution Pill Master. High-grade 6th Revolution Pill Masters were much rarer than ordinary Void Fragmentation Realm old monsters. The old primitive emperor did not expect Ning Fan to be able to raise his cultivation base and pill refinement mastery to an extremely high level within his limited bone age. Little friend, may I ask how are my injuries? The old primitive emperor's eyes showed a rare hint of admiration. It's very serious. The yin and yang of your demon soul have separated and can't be combined. Even if you try to combine them forcefully, there will still be some flaws left behind. These flaws are enough to make Senior unable to become an immortal in this life. However, you won't have to worry about your life. Ning Fan said with a frown. He had a way to use the yin-yang locket's yin-yang harmonizing force to combine the old primitive emperor's demon soul forcefully. However, if he tries to do it forcefully, even though the old primitive emperor would be able to keep his life, it would be difficult for him to become an immortal ever again because of the flaws in his demon soul. If he has another yin-yang treasure, he can temporarily lend it to the old primitive emperor to repair the flaws in his demon soul. Then, all the hidden dangers would be solved. The yin-yang locket was an immortal emperor's treasure. It should not be shown to others easily. If he can fish up the yin dragon and yang dragon and obtain the yin-yang dragon pearl, Ning Fan's eyes flickered as if he had a plan. The old primitive emperor, on the other hand, found it hard to believe. What did he just hear? Ning Fan actually said that he had a way to help him combine his demon soul. It could help him keep his life. Even if he forcefully combines his demon soul, it would leave a flaw in his demon soul which would make it impossible for him to become an immortal. However, to the old primitive emperor who was supposed to die, being able to keep his life was already worth it. Little friend, do you really have a way to help me combine my demon soul? The old primitive emperor's eyes were unprecedentedly solemn. If he was still alive, he would naturally take care of the Palace of Origin and there would be no need to trouble Ning Fan. It's true. If I can fish up the yin-yang dragon pearl in the dragon fishing convention, it would be easy for me to completely restore Senior's demon soul. Of course, I don't have absolute confidence in fishing up the yin dragon and yang dragon. In short, I'll arrange the matter of treating Senior's injuries after the dragon fishing convention. If I really can't fish up the yin-yang dragon pearl, I will have to use a forceful method to make Senior's demon soul combine with his. Otherwise, if this drags on for another 100 years, Senior's life will be in danger. As soon as Ning Fan finished speaking, he raised his palm. A black devil flame rose from the center of his palm. The moment the devil flame separated, it actually separated into cold chi and flame. Then, with a thought from Ning Fan, the ice and flame fused together again. The method he displayed was to harmonize the two opposite extremes of yin and yang. This was to convince the old primitive emperor that he did not lie and that he had a way to save the old primitive emperor. After listening to Ning Fan's words and seeing the ice and flame separating and fusing in his palm, the old primitive emperor went silent for a while. Then, he suddenly burst into laughter. His laughter was extremely carefree. This old man firmly believes that little friend can help me save my life. As for the matter of fishing up the yin-yang dragon pearl and completely restoring my demon soul, it gave me quite a pleasant surprise. It turns out that I still have a chance to become an immortal. Hee hee. Let's do as little friend said. Treat my injuries after the dragon fishing convention. The old primitive emperor believed every word that Ning Fan said. However, he did not have the confidence that Ning Fan could fish up the yin-yang dragon pearl. No one had fished up the yin-yang dragon pearl for millions of years. Ning Fan probably wouldn't be able to fish it up either, forget it. It doesn't matter even if I don't have the yin-yang dragon pearl. I'm already lucky to be able to keep my life. Senior, please rest well and recover some of your vitality. After the convention, I will come and treat Senior's injuries again. I still need to make some preparations for the dragon fishing convention. I'll take my leave first. I won't send you off. I will give an order to little friend. If little friend needs anything, you can directly go to the treasury of the Yuan Palace to get it. No one will stop you. Ning Fan walked out of the Yang Xian Palace and felt slightly relieved. Being able to help the old primitive emperor could be considered as repaying the favor of the primitive emperor Jade. Tan Zixin was waiting anxiously outside the Yang Xian Palace. When she saw Ning Fan coming out, she immediately went to him and asked nervously. Has Senior finished treating my grandfather's injuries? What's the result? Tan Zixin was so nervous that her palms were wet with sweat. It's not very optimistic. Before Ning Fan could finish his words, Tan Zixin's vision darkened and she almost fainted. What she was most afraid of was that her grandfather was incurable. A single sentence of, "It's not very optimistic," had almost crushed all of her expectations. I haven't finished yet. At least, I can save the old primitive emperor's life. Ning Fan held Tan Zixin's wrist. It was cold and smooth to the touch. Tan Zixin's skin was really good. Ah! You can save my grandfather's life? Tan Zixin regained her spirit and smiled through her tears. She did not mind that her wrist was being held. If I can fish up the yin-yang dragon pearl during the convention, I can also help the old primitive emperor's demon soul to recover and restore his hope of becoming an immortal. Of course, if I can't fish it out, I can at least save his life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tan Zixin was so excited that she could not speak a word. After waiting for 400 years, Ning Fan had finally arrived. He could finally save her grandfather's life. If there's a chance, he could even help her grandfather to become an immortal again. For the past 400 years, she had been living in regret every single day. Now, the knot in her heart was finally resolved. When she thought of the pain her grandfather had suffered for her all these years, Tan Zixin was filled with mixed feelings of sadness and joy. Her eyes turned sour and she leaned into Ning Fan's embrace, sobbing softly. After a while, she suddenly realized that her behavior was extremely rude and reckless. Tan Zixin let out a soft cry and wiped her tears. She jumped out of Ning Fan's embrace. Her face was as red as blood and she lowered her head shyly. Impolite. I'm really impolite. She was so excited that she could not help but run into Ning Fan's arms and cry, Senior Bai Mu, I'm sorry. I dirtied your clothes. Tan Zixin said apologetically. It's all right. It's normal for one to cry tears of joy. I still have to make some preparations for the dragon fishing convention. I'll take my leave first. After the convention, I'll come back to help the old primitive emperor recover. Farewell. Ning Fan nodded slightly at Tan Zixin and turned to leave. His eyes were clear all the time. He did not have any desire towards Tan Zixin. At this moment, he was only thinking about the dragon fishing convention. Looking at Ning Fan's back that was getting further away, Tan Zixin's watery eyes were filled with gratitude and a trace of indescribable emotion. Thank you. Ning Fan returned to the Demon River Palace. Not long after, Li Long had also completed the task Ning Fan had given him. He returned with a large number of pills and heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures. There was 1 trillion immortal jade. I've used 65 billion of them. There's still 35 billion left. I've visited the demon city within a 1 billion li radius. I've bought a total of 954 6th revolution pills, 35 7th revolution pills, 107 spirit unlocking vines, 53 moon concealing flowers and 77 spirit congealing grasses. All of these items are supreme treasures that can heal one's primordial spirit. Here are the accounts. Master, please have a look to prove that I didn't embezzle any of the immortal jade. Li Long cupped his fists and stood in front of Ning Fan, bowing his head respectfully. His heart was slightly shocked. It had only been 3 days but he could vaguely feel that Ning Fan had become much stronger. Moreover, Ning Fan seemed to be carrying some kind of secret treasure right now. That secret treasure gave Li Long, a dignified seventh-breaking realm expert, a feeling that he did not dare to resist. It was as if he would be instantly killed by the secret treasure if he resisted it. 3 days ago, he did not feel such a strong sense of danger from Ning Fan. 3 days later, Ning Fan actually possessed the strength to kill him instantly. It was really shocking. There's no need to look at the accounts. You've volunteered to be my servant. I believe you. You've worked hard in the past few days. Have a good rest. The dragon fishing convention is just around the corner. Try to get a good result. Understood. I'll take my leave now. Li Long had traveled to hundreds of great demon cities within a billion li in just 3 days to purchase a large amount of heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures. He was indeed exhausted and needed a good rest. After Li Long left, Ning Fan entered the profound Yin world and quietly walked into the thatched cottage without disturbing Luo Yu's cultivation. He placed the storage pouch beside her and left silently. When he returned to the outside world, it was night time. After daybreak, the dragon fishing convention would be held in Tianyuan City. He walked out of the house and stood in the courtyard with his hands clasped behind his back. He stood there for a long time. In his mind, he recalled Tan Tianyan's footsteps that followed him through life and death. In Tan Tianyan's footsteps, there was a kind of natural aura of life and death. He had already stepped on life and death and stood above it. This was the footsteps that a person who was about to become an immortal should have. Hua Yu stood outside Ning Fan's bedchamber for a long time. Eventually, she came to see Ning Fan with a plate of spiritual fruits and spiritual wine. This time, she did not plan to offer herself to sleep with him. She knew that even if she offered herself to sleep with him, Ning Fan might not accept her. The reason why she brought the spiritual wine and spiritual fruits was to wish Ning Fan a fruitful return from the dragon fishing convention tomorrow. However, just as she stepped into Ning Fan's bedchamber, she stopped. She saw Ning Fan standing in the courtyard. At this moment, Ning Fan's body was surrounded by an aura force that was as vast as the Tao. That aura force seemed to be able to take away the life and death of others with a single thought. She knew that Ning Fan was comprehending something, so she did not dare to disturb him. On the other side, the little demoness was sitting in her boudoir in boredom. Her spirit sense was rippling back and forth in Ning Fan's bedchamber. So boring. So boring. I can't see little Fan Fan every day. My whole body is going to rust. What is little Fan Fan doing? Is he comprehending life and death? The little demoness suddenly became spirited and focused all of her attention on Ning Fan. Ning Fan did not know that there were 2 girls paying attention to him at this moment. His heart was completely immersed in the footsteps of Tan Tianyan and life and death. His Tao heart was clear. Suddenly, he took a step forward. This step seemed ordinary, but as soon as he took it, a ripple that was half black and half white emerged. At the moment when the ripple spread, half of the plants in the courtyard that were affected by the ripple withered and died, while the other half became more lush and green. But then, the ripple collapsed on its own. Ning Fan was forced to open his eyes. He stopped his step and let out a sigh. With my current realm, I still can't take this step. He stood there for the whole night and did not move even half a step. He did not know that his step had shocked the 2 girls at the same time. Hua Yu's realm was low, so she did not feel too shocked. She was only shocked that Ning Fan could reverse the life and death of plants. The little demoness realm was extremely high. If it wasn't because she cultivated the void scripture which caused her cultivation base to fall, she would be at the peak of 9-breaking realm. Her Tao of life and death was not as profound as the old Yuan Emperor, but all of her abilities were from the upper world. Therefore, she was still slightly stronger than the old Yuan Emperor. She could naturally see the meaning of Ning Fan's step. Stepping on life and death. He almost stepped on life and death. One should know that even the little demoness herself could not step on life and death. That was why she wanted to find the immemorial fisherman's straw painting and take that step. Once she took that step, she could officially step into the life immortal realm. When Ning Fan was at the vein opening realm, her cultivation base was already at the peak of 9 breaking realm. Now, she had yet to become an immortal, but he had already caught up to her. Just like her, he was also working hard to step on life and death. This was just too unbelievable. Even though little Fan Fan has yet to take this step, it's already amazing that he can start to try. TSK TSK TSK. This descendant of ancient chaos really has a monstrous aptitude. If I don't work hard in my cultivation, I won't be able to complete the ancestral teachings in the future and pester him. How troublesome. The night ended and the sun rose. In the sky above Tianyuan City, 8 void fragmentation realm experts of the Origin Palace suddenly appeared and tore open the crack of the heavenly dwelling above the Origin Palace. Above the vast sky, a huge pond with clear purple ripples suddenly appeared. 4 jade platforms floated in the air around the pond. The pond couldn't be seen from below. It could only be seen from above. The bottom of the pond was inside the heavenly dwelling. That pond was the dragon raising pond. Its water area was millions of li and there were demonic dragons hiding at the bottom of the pond. There was a realm-breaking light in the pond. Other than the dragon souls that were nurtured using secret techniques, no one could enter the dragon raising pond. There were 500 small islands on the surface of the water. They were prepared for the 500 cultivators to stand on. There was still a grand formation above the water area. It was not time to open the formation yet. The dragon fishing convention is about to begin. Countless old monsters in the Tianyuan city opened their eyes at this moment and flew to the sky. Each of them either went to the 4 jade platforms to be the audience of the convention or stood outside the formation light of the dragon raising pond. They took out their fishing rods and were ready to enter the pond to fish for demon dragons. Countless old monsters sat on the 4 jade platforms. Only the cultivators of the Origin Palace and the demon sovereigns could sit on the jade platform in the north. This time, the 10 purple golden seats were all occupied except for the empty seat of the ape sovereign. Out of the 10 great demon sovereigns of the demon world, 9 of them came at once. These demon sovereigns used the teleportation formation in the inner realm to travel through the world passage and arrived at the Origin Palace. The teleportation formation in the inner realm cost 10 billion immortal jade to teleport one person. It could teleport people across the entire demon world. The demon sovereigns who didn't attend the competition in the Immortal Ascension Tower gathered in the Origin Palace this time. Naturally, they wanted to see the person who was famous in the demon world, Old Ancestor Bai Mu. On the jade platform in the north, there were 2 low-profile figures. One of them was a white-haired girl. She wasn't a peerless beauty but she could be considered delicate and pretty. However, her eyes were terrifyingly old. She was the old ancestor of the Fox Palace, the old Fox Sovereign. In order to see Ning Fan who had comprehended the Tao light of life and death, she didn't hesitate to come to the Origin Palace personally. The other person was an old man in red robes. He was the old ancestor of the Red Palace, the old Red Sovereign. Naturally, the reason why he came to this place was also for Ning Fan. The old Yuan Sovereign also showed up in a low-profile manner. He sat in the middle of the 2 rogue demons. If he wasn't here, it would be hard to control such a grand occasion. Old Monster Tan, you really have a good eye for talent. You can actually see that this young man is extraordinary and try to rope him in. I heard that your granddaughter is very close to this Bai Mu. The old Red Sovereign said expressionlessly. Hee hee. Old Monster Tan has always had a sharp eye. It's not like you don't know. Many years ago, the 3 of us went to the Life Immortals ruins together and found 3 treasures. At that time, you wanted the Scarlet Heaven Golden Crown while I wanted the water-suppressing Immortal Sword. Both of us thought that we got the strongest treasure in the ruins. However, Old Monster Tan insisted on getting the most inconspicuous Heavenly Abode Pearl. TSK TSK TSK. At that time, who would have thought that this Heavenly Abode Pearl wasn't an ordinary high-grade Heavenly Abode treasure? The old Fox Sovereign's voice was hoarse. His eyes were filled with envy when he looked at Tan Tianyen. The heavenly abode pearl contained the lifetime comprehension of a life immortal. All of them were obtained by Tan Tianyen. That was why he was able to take half a step into the immortal path. The heavenly abode pearl itself was an extremely powerful heavenly abode magical treasure. There wasn't only a high-grade heavenly abode space inside the pearl. Instead, there was an infinite number of heavenly abodes. If a rogue demon of the same level was sucked into the heavenly abode pearl, it wouldn't be able to escape without certain means. Hee. Since when have I ever had a sharp eye? I'm just acting according to my own nature. When I first met Bai Mu, I didn't know that he was this powerful. I just felt that I got along well with him. That's why I gave him some opportunities. However, I didn't expect that it would be a great opportunity for me. When I first met the heavenly abode pearl, I didn't know how powerful this treasure was. However, how could I have the nerve to compete for immortal treasures with you two when you were trying to save me? That's why I took the most inferior heavenly abode pearl. However, I didn't expect that this pearl would be the most extraordinary treasure. The old primitive emperor smiled faintly and said no more. The old red emperor and the old fox sovereign exchanged glances and smiled helplessly. Look! Old ancestor Bai Mu is here. No one knew who was the first to shout from the 4 jade platforms. All of a sudden, everyone's gaze shifted towards a certain direction in the vast sky. In that direction, Li Long, who was following behind Ning Fan, was flying towards them with a respectful look on his face. He isn't Bai Mu. On the East Jade platform, a man in a cloak was sitting on an inconspicuous seat. His eyes were glowing with a faint green light that contained endless evil intent. When Lord Cheng Huang meets up with me, I will expose your identity in front of everyone. Speaking of which, why hasn't Lord Cheng Huang contacted me yet? The cloaked man's face was filled with confusion. He was Cheng Huang's demon servant, but he was just a servant in name. Besides, he had planted any restrictions on him and did not have many methods to contact Cheng Huang. He had the only sound-transmitting compass and he had yet to receive any reply from Cheng Huang. Wait. When Lord Cheng Huang meets up with me, I will expose you. It's better for me to keep a low profile since I'm alone. He knew his own capabilities. Although he had broken through to the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm in just a few thousand years, his cultivation base was increased by plucking. Of course, his cultivation base was based on harvesting, so his aura was weak, and his battle prowess was so weak that not even a first demolisher would be able to defeat him. At most, he could only bully void refinement realm cultivators with his current cultivation base. He was quietly waiting for Cheng Huang's arrival. However, he did not know that Cheng Huang was already dead and would never come again. It's Senior Bai Mu. Tan Zixin, who was standing behind the old Yuan emperor's back, suddenly had her eyes lit up. Is he Senior Bai Mu? Why does he give me a strange sense of familiarity? A young man stood behind Chu Huang. He was called Crown Prince Chu Shun. He had just attained the void refinement realm a few months ago. Now, he was already a void glimpse stage cultivator. However, with his void glimpse stage cultivation base, he still had to address Ning Fan as senior. Of course, he did not know that Bai Mu, who was the center of attention, was someone he was very familiar with. Bai Yu, Bai Mu, and Liu Bei from the Luoyun sect were the same person, Bai Mu. He Shirshio's eyes turned slightly grim. All the eyes of the cultivators present were focused on Ning Fan. On the contrary, no one paid attention to him, the mysterious old monster with the surname He. Even those demon sovereigns who knew his true identity did not pay much attention to him. This made him feel like he was inferior to Ning Fan, which made him feel very displeased. Daoist child, don't forget the purpose of this trip. Yun Yomu sighed and reminded him. He was Ning Fan's servant. He could not tell He Shirshio about Ning Fan's strength. However, he also did not want to see He Shirshio offend Ning Fan and die. Thus, he reminded him in an attempt to divert He Shirshio's attention. You're right. I was only thinking about Bai Mu and I almost forgot the purpose of this trip. We are here for the Yin Yang Dragon Pearl. I have already obtained an item from the Jade Dao sect. With this item, my luck will be close to the purple color in a short period of time. If there is a Yin dragon or Yang dragon in this place, I will certainly be the only one who can fish it up. Theoretically speaking, void fragmentation realm experts could cultivate purple luck. However, there were too few void fragmentation realm experts who had purple luck, and there were even fewer of them in the lower world. Fishing for a dragon had a requirement of technique and also a requirement of luck. If one does not have fishing skills, it would naturally be impossible to fish for a dragon. If one does not have luck, it would be useless no matter how good one's fishing skills are. There were countless talented and intelligent people in the world. However, most of them did not have good luck and achieved nothing in their lives. There were countless mediocre people in the world. However, if they could seize the opportunity, they could amaze the world with a single brilliant feat and soar to the sky. Luck was also a type of great Tao. In this meeting, I will definitely fish up the most demon dragons. As for that Bai Mu, his luck is too weak. It's not as good as mine. He Shishio took out a pearl with 4 colors. It was green, cyan, blue and purple. He held the pearl and shone it at Ning Fan's direction and made a judgment. There was no reaction from the pearl. Ning Fan's luck must be below the green color. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue and purple. Green luck was the 4th grade of mortal luck. He Shishio really despised a dignified void fragmentation realm expert for having the 4th grade of mortal luck. Of course, he did not know that the surface of Ning Fan's luck was black. Thus, the pearl could not detect any luck. However, Ning Fan's actual luck was purple. It was the 1st grade of mortal luck. Among the mortal luck, there was no one whose luck was higher than purple. Ning Fan's fishing skills might not be the best in this place, but his luck was the best in this place. It seems like there aren't as many people with strong luck as I imagined. Ning Fan walked to the edge of the formation light of the dragon fishing pond. His eyes swept across the crowd and he was slightly surprised. Initially, he thought that any void fragmentation realm cultivator would be able to attain purple luck. However, it seemed like it was just his wishful thinking. How could it be that easy to cultivate one's luck? He could see through luck. The strongest person here only had blue luck, which was the 2nd grade of mortal luck. Theoretically, everyone who cultivated all the way to the void fragmentation realm would have the chance to attain purple luck. However, the reality was obviously very different from the theory. Hee. Most of the fellow Taoists have arrived. Then, allow me to explain the rules of this dragon fishing convention. Great Elder Zhou Nan stood up and cupped his fists at the cultivators in all directions. Chapter 651. Zhou Nan took out a golden jade slip and crushed it, just like he did during the Immortal Ascension Pagoda competition. Soon after, rays of golden light flew out of the jade scroll and turned into golden demon characters that were written in the sky. The participants of the Dragon Fishing Convention are the 500 cultivators who obtained cave abodes in the Immortal Ascension Pagoda. During the convention, everyone could choose an island, occupy an area of the sea, and bring their own fishing rod to fish for dragons. During the convention, one could fight and snatch other people's islands, but one could not steal other people's dragon souls or kill people. Violators would be stripped of their qualifications to participate in the convention. Confiscate all the dragon souls you've caught. The dragon bait used to fish the dragon is specially made by the secret method of Yuan Palace. One dragon bait costs 1 million celestial jade and you can buy it from the supply store outside the dragon raising pool. During the process of the meeting, if there isn't enough dragon bait, you can leave the dragon raising pool to buy more. The dragon fishing convention will last for 3 days. The golden characters faded away one by one. After reading the rules, most of the old monsters' expressions remained the same. Only a small number of people who were participating for the first time frowned and sighed at how expensive the dragon bait was. Who knew how much dragon bait was used to catch a dragon? It was not a small expense. But it couldn't be helped. The dragon bait that wasn't made with the secret technique of Yuan Palace couldn't enter the water that contained the world-breaking light. Naturally, it couldn't catch a dragon. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the convention will begin. Before that, fellow Taoists can purchase the dragon bait. As soon as Grand Elder Zhou Nan finished speaking, many old monsters immediately flew to the supply area to buy dragon bait. In the end, Zhou Nan gave up a spot. He had no intention of competing with the other cultivators. Most of the 500 participants this time were at the void inquiry stage and above. To many void tempering cultivators, the dragon bait that cost 1 million void tempering stage cultivators was extremely expensive, but they had no choice but to buy it. To Ning Fan, a mere dragon bait naturally did not cost him too much money. He bought 1,000 dragon baits in one go in a bait bag, which he tied around his waist. Finally, he bought a sealing pot, which was a tool to contain the dragon's soul. Then, without another glance at the crowd, he walked to the outside of the dragon-raising pond and waited for the conference to begin. Li Long also bought 1,000 pieces of dragon bait and followed closely behind Ning Fan, waiting outside the dragon-raising pond. Those void fragmentation realm old monsters would either buy 1,000 immortal jades or 500 immortal jades. It was as if they did not care about the immortal jades. Ordinary spatial tempering cultivators would have to plan carefully. Those who had money would buy 100, those who had no money would buy 50, and those who were even poorer would only buy 10 dragon baits. They were purely trying their luck. The time it took for an incense stick to burn passed quickly. Zhou Nan took out a golden token and waved it at the sky. The dragon-raising pond's light immediately dissipated. The meeting begins now, Zhou Nan announced. In the instant that the formation light dissipated, all the old monsters turned into streaks of light and flew toward the islands in the dragon-raising pond. There were only 500 islands, and there were naturally good and bad locations. Those who knew the ropes would naturally choose islands with better locations, and would even fight for some islands. Those who did not know the ropes would choose a random island to fish for dragons. Ning Fan was a person who did not know the ways of the world. But he had Myth Dragon with him, and Myth Dragon understood. Master, that island is not bad. The speed of the current and the strength of the waves are all the favorite resting places of the dragon-raising pond. Myth Dragon pointed at one of the islands in the distance. The 3 Void Refinement Realm experts who were about to fight for that island immediately changed their expressions and said to Myth Dragon with a flattering smile. We will give this island to Senior. We will not fight for it anymore. Hee hee. Hee hee. The 3 of them smiled embarrassedly and quickly fled to other islands. Of course, they did not dare to offend Myth Dragon and Ning Fan. Ning Fan landed on this island. As for Li Long, he found another island that was extremely far away from Ning Fan's location. Myth Dragon did not want to fish away the demon dragon's soul that belonged to Ning Fan. Many people on the islands were still fighting for the islands. However, it had nothing to do with Ning Fan. Ning Fan took out the Taigong fishing rod and put the dragon bait on it. He raised his hand and tossed the rod into the air. Then, he sat cross-legged on the shore of the island, waiting for the demon dragon to take the bait. On an island 10,000 li away, He Shishio also sat cross-legged after casting the rod. He scanned Ning Fan's direction with his spirit sense and his eyes were filled with disdain. Bai Mu's luck is below the 4th grade. I'm afraid he can't even catch a 9th grade dragon soul. I, on the other hand, am different. I originally have a 2nd grade mortal luck. With the help of this treasure, my luck can approach the 1st grade. In this place, my luck can be ranked 1st. He Shishio took out the 4-colored luck pearl from before and placed it in his mouth. All of a sudden, his luck began to change slowly. It was now blue with a hint of purple. At the moment his luck changed, He Shishio suddenly felt the surface of the water move. Without saying anything else, he stood up and immediately pulled the fishing rod, pulling a golden dragon's soul that was 800 zhang out of the water. Fishing a dragon was different from ordinary fishing. Patience was secondary. The most important thing was to act fast. The speed at which a dragon bites the bait was not comparable to ordinary fish. If you are slightly slower, you would only be able to catch an empty hook. What he Shirshio caught was a dragon's soul whose chi was comparable to that of a wild beast. As soon as he fished it out, he Shirshio kept the dragon's soul in his hand without saying anything. He scanned the dragon's soul with his spirit sense and found that it did not have a dragon pearl in its body. Then, he used the sealing pot to seal it. For a moment, the 4 jade platforms floating in the air and even the sea area of the dragon-raising pond resounded with cheers. On each of the 4 jade platforms, there was a dragon fishing steel. The participants could see the results of their fishing. An 8th grade dragon soul. Not only is that old monster he the first one to catch a dragon soul, but he even caught an 8th grade dragon soul. Tut! Tut! He is indeed an old monster at the 5th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. His luck is so strong that I can only be envious of him. He Shirshio was also feeling rather proud of himself. He also did not expect that a demonic dragon would take the bait as soon as his luck improved. It was indeed too fast. Even he himself did not expect it. When he scanned Ning Fan with his spirit sense and saw that he was still sitting on the shore of the island without showing any signs of catching a dragon soul, he could not help but laugh inwardly. Trying to fish a dragon with luck that is below the 4th grade is really asking for humiliation. He Shirshio put on the 2nd dragon bait. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, he caught a 2nd dragon soul. It was a 7th grade dragon soul. Unfortunately, there was no dragon pearl in his body. At this moment, the battle for the 500 islands had mostly come to an end. Each of the old monsters began to fish for dragons. Occasionally, a few of them would catch a dragon soul. Now, he Shirshio was not the only one in the limelight. Look! Old freak he caught another 7th grade dragon soul. Senior Mo Yang Zi caught a 9th grade dragon soul. What? How could a mere void pierce stage elder of the Cold Fish clan catch an 8th grade dragon soul? Could it be that his luck is really good? Look, Tan Longzi. No, Senior Li Long caught an 8th grade dragon soul. Besides, there is actually a 9th grade dragon pearl in this dragon soul. When Li Long caught the first dragon pearl of this meeting, the entire place burst into an uproar. He Shirshio's expression turned slightly unpleasant. Li Long was Ning Fan's servant. There was almost no difference between him catching a dragon pearl and Ning Fan catching a dragon pearl. Therefore, he Shirshio was unwilling to see Li Long attracting attention. Hee. A 9th grade dragon pearl is nothing. I must catch a 1st grade dragon pearl. He Shirshio calmed himself down and continued fishing. Gradually, he caught the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th dragon souls. The highest grade of the dragon soul was a 5th grade dragon soul. No one on the scene could catch a 5th grade dragon soul. Unfortunately, none of the dragon souls that he Shirshio caught had dragon pearls. It was really a pity. He was a little displeased. However, when he scanned the area with his spirit sense, he realized that Ning Fan still had not caught a single dragon soul. He could not help but feel much better. Hee. It has been so long but Bai Mu still hasn't gotten anything. How pitiful. The 6th, the 7th, the 8th, when he caught the 9th dragon soul, he finally caught the 1st dragon pearl. It was a 4th grade dragon soul which had an 8th grade dragon pearl in its body. He Shirshio took out the dragon pearl and kept it in his storage pouch. Then, he smiled proudly. It was because Ning Fan still had no harvest at all. Look! Old monster, he has actually caught a 4th grade dragon soul and an 8th grade dragon pearl. Come to think of it, he has already caught 9 dragon souls, right? So far, no one has caught more than him among all the participants. That's right. Among the void fragmentation realm old monsters, Senior Li Long is probably ranked 2nd. Even he has only caught 3 dragon souls and 1 dragon pearl. As for the other void fragmentation realm old monsters, most of them only managed to catch one dragon soul. Some of them didn't even make any achievements at all. For example, Ning Fan. On the 4 jade platforms, many people were looking at the first position on the dragon fishing stele in puzzlement. The 500 participants on the dragon fishing stele were arranged according to their ranking in the Immortal Ascension Tower. It would not change. After each participant's name, there would be a record of their results. Ning Fan's result was blank. So far, he had not caught any dragon soul, let alone a dragon pearl. Many people were still guessing whether Ning Fan would amaze the world with a single brilliant feat like what he did in the Immortal Ascension Tower. But now, it seemed like Ning Fan's luck was not enough. He could not even catch a 9th grade dragon soul. Time passed by. Gradually, all the void fragmentation realm old monsters except Ning Fan had their harvests. Even some old monsters at the origin returning realm, Absolute Void Stage and Void Pierce Stage had their harvests too. However, Ning Fan still did not get anything. Could it be that old ancestor Bai Mu's luck is really bad? Chu Huang and Chu Hall asked doubtfully. Hee. I feel that old ancestor Bai Mu isn't a person with bad luck. Perhaps, he will do something amazing soon. The fox sovereign smiled with seductive eyes. Perhaps. Anyway, I don't believe that the dignified old ancestor Bai Mu is a person with bad luck. The green sovereign nodded. The old fox sovereign and the old crimson sovereign did not express their opinion. Their eyes were filled with a hint of confusion. What is this young man doing? Their spirit sense secretly locked onto Ning Fan. In the entire dragon fishing convention, they did not pay attention to anyone else other than Ning Fan. The 2 rogue demons noticed that Ning Fan was channeling his magic power into the fishing rod, extending the fishing line to a very deep place. Is he trying to catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon? The old Yuan sovereign guessed. Senior Bai Mu is trying to catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon. Tan Zixin looked at the dragon fishing monument quietly as if she could guess Ning Fan's thoughts. On the isolated island, Ning Fan sat cross-legged on the shore of the island for 2 hours. He did not catch any dragon souls because the ordinary dragon souls would be scared away by the dragon-suppressing aura of his fishing rod before they could bite the bait. What he wanted to catch was not ordinary dragons but Yin dragon and Yang dragon. The purpose of this trip was very simple, the Yin-Yang dragon pearl. He lengthened the fishing line until it reached the bottom of the dragon-raising pond. Although his spirit sense could not enter that place, Ning Fan could sense some changes in the fishing rod. In just 2 hours, the Yin and Yang power on the fishing rod had changed 5 times. 3 times was Yin and 2 times was Yang. The Yin dragon and Yang dragon approached the hook 5 times but did not bite it. Others might not be able to sense the Yin dragon and Yang dragon but Ning Fan who possessed the Yin-Yang locket could slightly sense it. He knew that there were indeed Yin dragon and Yang dragon in this dragon-raising pond. However, he did not know why the Yin dragon and Yang dragon did not bite the bait, as if they were very disdainful towards the dragon bait. The dragon souls in the dragon-raising pond should have low spiritual intelligence. As long as they see the dragon bait, they would bite the bait. Ning Fan could not understand why the Yin dragon and Yang dragon did not bite the bait. Was it because his luck was not enough to catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon, or was there some other reason? The spiritual intelligence of the Yin dragon and Yang dragon were obviously low. Why didn't they bite the bait when they saw the bait that they wanted? Could it be that the bait was not attractive enough? Ning Fan retracted the fishing line and infused a trace of Yin and Yang power into the dragon bait. Then, he cast the fishing line again. Another 2 hours passed. The length of the fishing rod transmitted 27 changes in the Yin and Yang power. 12 times was Yin and 15 times was Yang. The Yin dragon and Yang dragon approached the fishing hook for a total of 27 times. They seemed to be greatly tempted by the dragon bait but they just did not bite it. It seems like it's not just because of the bait. In order to catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon that no one has caught for millions of years, I probably need some special items. Ning Fan retracted the fishing line and closed his eyes. Suddenly, a light flashed in front of his eyes. He seemed to have understood something, but he also felt a little confused. A sound-transmitting flying sword suddenly arrived. When it reached Ning Fan's side, it immediately broke into pieces. Then, a woman's voice entered Ning Fan's ears. It was the sound-transmitting flying sword sent by Tan Zixin. She was telling him about her experience when she caught the Yin dragon and Yang dragon. It was the story of a sword cultivator who was a rogue immortal from 3 million years ago. The dragon fishing convention lasted for 3 days. On the first day, that person fished a dragon crazily. His result was shocking. He caught more than 300 dragon souls and 27 dragon balls. However, he could not catch another dragon on the second day. On the third day, before the convention ended, that person suddenly caught the legendary Yin dragon and Yang dragon, shocking the entire demon world. After he had successfully caught the dragon, he put all the dragon souls and dragon balls back. He laughed loudly and cried loudly. Then, he flew away on his flying sword. Before he left, he only said one sentence. I have obtained the Tao. However, this Tao came too late. I don't want it anymore. I should give it up. The story that Tan Zixin told was only recorded in a few ancient books. Currently, there were almost no one in the demon world who knew about it. The reason why she told this story to Ning Fan was because she wanted to give him some help and help him successfully fish for the dragon. Ning Fan remained silent for a while. Then, he seemed to have understood something and transmitted his voice to Tan Zixin. Thank you. He now knew why he could not catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon. He knew what he should do now. I should learn from that rogue immortal senior and return with a full harvest. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with black light. That black light was the color of luck. Under the black color, there was an extremely pure purple color. He retracted the fishing line to a suitable depth and waited quietly. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the first dragon's soul took the bait. Before the first ripple appeared on the surface of the water, Ning Fan had already stood up. He pulled the fishing rod and caught a golden dragon that was 1,000 zhang long from the surface of the water. He pointed a finger at the golden dragon. It immediately trembled and turned into a small golden snake that was around 1 qi long. Then, he caught it in his palm. The golden dragon breathed out a ray of golden light from its mouth. That ray of golden light turned into a golden pearl that floated in front of Ning Fan. A 7th grade dragon soul and a 9th grade dragon ball. Bai Mu actually caught a dragon soul. Moreover, this dragon soul is actually a 7th grade dragon soul. Moreover, there is a dragon ball inside the dragon soul. Luck. It must be luck. No matter how bad a person's luck is, he or she would encounter great luck once in a while. He Shishou's eyes widened in surprise. His spirit sense was constantly paying attention to Ning Fan's movements. After a while, he suppressed his astonishment. From his point of view, Ning Fan being able to catch a 7th grade dragon soul and a 9th grade dragon ball was an accident that could not be replicated. It was impossible for it to happen a second time. He looked down on Ning Fan, but the others did not think so. When Ning Fan's results on the dragon fishing monument changed, many old monsters were astonished. Old ancestor Bai Mu's luck is really not bad. Even though he spent 4 hours to catch the first dragon soul, it actually has a dragon ball inside it. It's already considered very rare. That's right. How can the luck of a void fragmentation realm old monster be bad? Tan Zixin's eyes flashed with a hint of joy. Inwardly, she guessed that her story might have already helped Ning Fan. Is Ning Fan going to learn from that rogue immortal senior and catch countless dragons on the first day and shock everyone? After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan caught the second dragon soul. It was a 6th grade dragon soul with an 8th grade dragon ball inside it. Impossible. How can such a coincidence happen twice in a row? He Shirshio's expression changed. Ning Fan had actually caught 2 dragon souls in a row and both of them had a dragon ball. Such a rare occurrence really happened again. It's impossible for him to catch a 3rd dragon soul. Just as He Shirshio's voice fell, Ning Fan caught the 3rd dragon soul. This dragon soul did not have a dragon ball inside it. However, it was a 2nd-grade dragon soul. How could a person with poor luck catch a 2nd-grade dragon soul? He Shirshio gritted his teeth. He knew that he had underestimated Ning Fan's luck. The 4-colored luck pearl did not seem to be able to accurately measure Ning Fan's luck. In the past, the rogue immortal sword cultivator who caught the Yin dragon and Yang dragon had a purple luck. Ning Fan's current luck was also purple. It was the 1st-grade mortal luck. Even though He Shirshio's luck was just a tiny bit away from the 1st grade, the difference between him and Ning Fan was like the difference between heaven and earth. The difference between his and Ning Fan's luck was not just a tiny bit. In the past, the rogue immortal sword cultivator caught 3,000 dragon souls within 24 hours and shocked the entire demon world. Ning Fan's luck was not any weaker than that person. His result in fishing dragons might not necessarily be weaker than that person. The 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 40th, the 50th, the 60th, in just 2 hours, Ning Fan had already caught 68 dragon souls and 9 dragon balls. The highest dragon soul was the 1st grade and there were only 3 of them. The highest dragon ball was the 3rd grade and there was only 1 3rd-grade dragon ball. At this moment, Ning Fan's result on the dragon fishing ranking was undoubtedly the 1st. He Shirshio's expression was extremely gloomy while the others were still in shock. The dragon fishing meeting had already gone on for 6 hours. Other than Ning Fan, the person with the best result in the past 6 hours was He Shirshio. He only managed to catch 12 dragon souls and the dragon pearl was still the same. Ning Fan's result had already surpassed He Shirshio's by a few times in just 2 hours. After the first day, Ning Fan had caught a total of 581 dragon souls and 66 dragon balls. Among them, there were 26 1st-grade dragon souls and 3 1st-grade dragon balls. Ning Fan alone seemed to have caught all the dragon souls in the entire dragon raising pond. The total number of dragon souls caught by the others at the scene was less than 400 and there were only 17 dragon balls. Moreover, the highest grade dragon ball among them was only at the 4th grade. Impossible. Even if this Bai Mu's luck isn't bad, it's impossible for him to surpass me by so much. With the help of the luck pearl, my luck is almost at the 1st grade purple luck. Even so, I only caught 42 dragon souls and 3 dragon balls in a day. His result is so much better than mine. Could it be that he has purple luck? He Shirshio's face turned pale. Other than those with purple luck, who else could be so heaven-defying to catch so many dragon souls? From He Shirshio's point of view, even if the dragon raising pond was not emptied by Ning Fan alone, there should not be many dragon souls left. In the next 2 days, it would be difficult for him to catch too many dragon souls. That detestable Bai Mu. Forget it. I didn't come here to catch ordinary dragon souls. My target is the Yin dragon and Yang dragon. He Shirshio's face darkened. He took out a pill that contained a trace of Yin and Yang power, ground it into powder and smeared it on the dragon bait. In the next 2 days, I'll start fishing the Yin dragon and Yang dragon. Of course, if there are ordinary dragon souls that take the bait, He Shirshio would not reject them. Cough cough cough. According to what I know, the rogue immortal who caught the Yin dragon and Yang dragon 3 million years ago also did the same thing as Bai Mu, right? Within a day, he almost emptied the dragon raising pond and took the lead. The old Qi sovereign said with a solemn expression. Hee hee. I wonder if this Bai Mu can be like that rogue immortal and catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon, shocking the demon world once again. The old fox sovereign's laughter was a little hoarse but his eyes were filled with anticipation. The old Yuan sovereign did not say anything, but his eyes were filled with anticipation. If Ning Fan could really fish out the yin-yang dragon pearl, it would help him completely recover his demon soul. That would naturally be the best outcome. If he can't, I can't force it either. On the second day, Ning Fan held the fishing rod but did not catch another dragon soul. It was not that there were no dragon souls that took the bait. There were indeed some dragon souls that took the bait, but he just let them eat the dragon bait instead of catching any dragons. After the dragon souls ate the bait, he would refill the bait again and cast the rod again to continue fishing. Compared to the first day, the number of dragon souls that took the bait was already pitiful. Yesterday, almost 2/3 of the dragon souls in the dragon-raising pond had been fished away. His goal today was not to catch any dragon souls in the first place. Not being able to catch them was the right thing to do. In his heart, a wisp of extremely mysterious comprehension gradually rose. Traces of the qi of the great Tao were emitted from his body. The qi was very obscure. Only 3 rogue demons could sense it in this place. Bai Mu, what are you doing? The old qi sovereign and the old fox sovereign wore puzzled expressions. Chapter 652. Ning Fan seemed to have turned into a statue. He sat on the shore of the island without moving an inch. The water rippled slightly and the dragon bait was eaten by the dragon soul. Ning Fan was not in a hurry to catch the dragon soul. He just repeatedly reeled in the line, shaped the bait and cast the rod, allowing the dragon bait to be eaten again. His gaze became deeper and deeper, as if he could see the satisfied expressions of the dragon souls in the water. Is the bait delicious? Ning Fan murmured with a sigh. Half a day had passed since the second day of the conference. Night had already fallen. The moonlight was dim and yellow. Ning Fan was dressed in white robes, sitting alone in the darkness. When there were only a few dragon baits left, he tossed all of them into the water. However, this caused the dragon souls in the water to fight over them. The dragon bait had been used up, but he didn't buy any more. He just hung the hook in the air and waited. Without the dragon bait, the dragon souls finally dispersed after waiting bitterly for nothing. In this place, there were no longer any dragons biting his bait or disturbing his state of mind. The dragon souls in this place seemed to have grown accustomed to it. They knew the benefits of dragon bait and they also knew that Ning Fan did not have any more dragon bait. The dragon souls swam to the islands where the other cultivators were and began to steal the dragon bait. Some succeeded, and some failed. Those who failed were naturally fished up by others. On this night, many of the cultivators who participated in the competition had gained something. Most of them were thanks to Ning Fan. All of this had nothing to do with Ning Fan. Ning Fan's heart seemed to have turned into a gentle ripple, without a single ripple. He looked at those dragon souls that had walked right into the trap, and it was as if he was looking at himself. He was so good that he could be compared to all living beings. On the first day, he fished the dragon crazily, easily deciding the death of the dragon soul. On the second day, he pardoned the dragon from death and used it as bait to decide the life and death of the dragon soul. But in this life, most of the ending was still a dead end. This was similar to cultivating Tao. Heaven could easily decide a person's death, yet it used longevity and Tao truth as bait to lure all living beings to cultivate Tao. Without the bait, one could not transcend life and death. The immortals who obtained the bait thought that they had transcended life and death, but most of them would still fall one day. First-step cultivators were limited by their lifespans, while second-step immortals were limited by the heavenly tribulations. As long as one was still restricted by the heavens and earth, one would not truly be considered to have transcended the restrictions of the heavens and earth. Immortals were people who stood on the mountain, but even if they stood on the mountain, there was still a sky above their head and a land below their feet. This mountain was still trapped in the cage of heaven and earth. The one holding the bait was the fisherman, and the one fighting for the bait was the fish. At this moment, Ning Fan was holding the bait. He was the fisherman. The dragon souls fought against each other for the bait and died because of it. If the Tao was the bait, then the living beings would be the fish and the dragon. They would fight with each other, and the heaven and earth would be the fishermen. Ning Fan raised his head and looked at the sky in silence. If heaven and earth were the fishermen, if longevity and Tao were the food, he did not want to be like most people, running around for the bait and losing his life for it. He didn't want to be a fish at the mercy of others. He didn't want to be fished out by others. He wanted to be the fisherman in charge of the fish's life and death. If you want to be a fisherman, you must first understand the Tao of angling. Anglers should hide in the river, cast bait unseen, and kill silently. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes shone with a mysterious light. There was reality in the illusory and death in the midst of life. His body began to fade, and so did the fishing rod, fishing line, and fishing hook in his hand. The night ended and the sun rose. Ning Fan's body had already faded like a mirage. On the night of the third day, Ning Fan's body had completely disappeared from everyone's sight. Where did fellow Taoist Bai Mu go? A few of the first break realm old monsters asked in surprise. The eruption on the first day, the silence on the second day, and the disappearance on the third day, what he did in the first 2 days was to comprehend the Tao of angling and prepare for the third day. Ordinary people would not know where Ning Fan went. Cultivators at the fifth break realm and above could see that Ning Fan did not actually go anywhere. He was still sitting on the same spot. He just concealed his body and the fishing rod so that ordinary people could not see him. Only the 3 rogue demons could see that Ning Fan had gone through 3 extremely mysterious changes during the process of concealing himself. Ning Fan's body went from being real to illusory, from illusory to life, from life to death. His body was constantly changing between being real and illusory. His chi was hovering between life and death. Even though he was just sitting there, it was as if he had become one with the entire dragon-raising pond, as if he did not exist. His chi was like a dead object. The 3 rogue demons who had achieved the Tao fusion with their demon souls could also do this. However, they would not be able to do it as perfectly as Ning Fan. It was as if Ning Fan had really disappeared. Other than the yin-yang power on the fishing hook, the yin-yang dragons would not notice that someone had set up a fishing hook and was waiting for them to take the bait. Ning Fan did not need other dragon baits. He directly extracted a trace of the purest yin-yang power from the yin-yang locket and channeled it into the fishing rod. To the yin-yang dragons and yang dragons, this trace of yin-yang power was much more tempting than any other dragon bait. At first, they did not dare to take the bait. However, they still sensed Ning Fan's presence in the end. Even though they wanted to eat the dragon bait, they did not dare to do so. When Ning Fan concealed himself, the 2 dragons no longer concealed their desires. For that trace of pure yin-yang power, they began to fight each other in the dragon-raising pond. Ning Fan was still waiting. He was waiting for the crucial moment of the battle between the 2 dragons. Then, he would split the fishing hook into 2 and catch the 2 dragons in one go. The result he achieved on the first day was his usual performance. On the second day, he wasted hundreds of dragon baits and released hundreds of dragon souls in order to comprehend the Tao of angling and comprehend the key to fishing dragons. He set up the yin-yang bait and waited in the dark with purple luck. Once the yin-yang dragons let down their guard and began to fight each other and swallow the bait, he would be able to achieve success in one go. It's a little strange. Why didn't old ancestor Bai Mu get anything from the second day onwards? Do you think old ancestor Bai Mu doesn't want to fish for ordinary dragon souls anymore? Maybe he wants to fish for the legendary yin-yang dragon souls. Fellow Taoist, don't joke around. No one has fished out the yin-yang dragon souls for millions of years. Why would old ancestor Bai Mu seek trouble for himself by fishing for the yin-yang dragon souls that are so difficult to catch? On the 4 jade platforms of the dragon-raising pond, many cultivators were discussing in low voices. The 9 demon sovereigns remained silent. All of their spirit sense were gathered on Ning Fan. He Shishio used his spirit sense to detect Ning Fan's actions. His eyes were filled with impatience. What is Bai Mu trying to do by deliberately mystifying things? Speaking of which, why is it so difficult to catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon? My luck is already close to purple and I've even used some secret medicine on the dragon bait. However, I still can't catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon. If I don't have the Yin Yang dragon pearl, the stage of getting the map will be extremely dangerous. This is going to be troublesome. Half of the third day had passed. After the last night, the dragon fishing convention would come to an end. How could he Shirshio not be anxious? He only had less than half a day left. Initially, he came to fish the Yin dragon and Yang dragon with confidence. However, his confidence had already been depleted. Could it be that even my half-purple luck isn't enough to catch the Yin dragon and Yang dragon? The night gradually faded and the sky turned white. He Shirshio's heart also sank. Not only did he fail to catch the Yin Yang dragon in this dragon fishing convention, but he also failed to catch the ordinary dragon souls. He Shirshio could not accept such a result, but he had no choice but to accept it. The convention will end in another hour. Damn it. Do I really have to have the best luck to catch the Yin Yang dragon? Just as he was muttering to himself, his eyes suddenly flashed with surprise. He Shirshio wasn't the only one who was shocked. Countless cultivators in the entire dragon raising pond and the 4 jade platforms were also astonished. At this moment, Ning Fan, who was originally invisible, showed his figure at this moment. On the surface of the sea where the night had yet to end, a dazzling aurora suddenly flashed. Within that aurora, there was an existence of Tao power that could look down on the sun and moon. When that Tao power spread out, the shadows of the sun and moon rose to the sky at the same time and a strange phenomenon took place. 2 extremely furious dragon roars came from the deepest part of the dragon raising pond, penetrating through the water and spreading across the entire pond. Roar. This is the roar of the Yin Yang dragon souls. Someone actually caught the Yin Yang dragon souls when the dragon fishing convention is about to end. Who is it? It's old ancestor Bai Mu. He's the one who caught the Yin Yang dragon souls. Moreover, he managed to catch 2 dragons at once. However, he still can't pull them out of the sea for the time being. Exclamations of surprise could be heard from all directions. He Shirshio's eyes were blank as if he had just received a huge shock. Why can Bai Mu catch the Yin Yang dragon souls? Could it be that he really has the purple luck? Evil creature. What great strength. Ning Fan stepped on the shore of the island and pulled the Taigong fishing rod. He wanted to pull the Yin Yang dragon souls out of the water but to no avail. The Yin Yang dragon souls were gigantic and they were still struggling with great strength. Even with his strength, he could not catch the 2 dragons at once. The strength of these 2 dragons was comparable to that of sovereign beasts. As they struggled, their strength increased by a few times. Dragon subduing. Ning Fan secretly activated a trace of dragon subduing power on the fishing rod without anyone noticing. After activating the dragon subduing technique of the Taigong fishing rod, the Yin Yang dragon souls which were roaring furiously suddenly let out a miserable shriek and were pulled out of the water by Ning Fan. They were 2 dragon souls which were 30,000 zhang in size. One of them was black while the other was white. The black dragon was the Yin dragon while the white dragon was the Yang dragon. The eyes of the 2 dragons were filled with fear. Their bodies were severely injured by the dragon subduing technique. Their blood was flowing uncontrollably. If it wasn't for the sake of keeping the souls of the 2 dragons for them to devour, Ning Fan could directly use the Taigong fishing rod to kill them instantly. At this moment, the old Yuan emperor suddenly rose to his feet. His eyes were filled with astonishment. The other 2 loose demons also rose to their feet. However, their eyes were filled with greed when they looked at the Yin Yang dragon souls. Among the old monsters present, they were not the only ones who showed greedy eyes at the Yin Yang dragon souls. The Yin Yang dragon souls contained the Yin Yang dragon pearl. A single pearl could increase the demon power of 50,000 life periods. 2 pearls would increase the demon power of 100,000 life periods. The yin-yang dragon souls were just first-grade dragon souls which were not worth mentioning. Some of them looked at Ning Fan with greed in their eyes. However, none of them made a move for the yin-yang dragon pearls. The old fox sovereign and the old chi sovereign were already loose demons. It was useless for them to devour the dragon pearls. Other than the two loose demons, the other experts were afraid of the reputations of the Yuan Palace and Li Long. Thus, none of them dared to snatch the treasures from Ning Fan. Ning Fan's expression relaxed a little. It couldn't be any better that no one tried to snatch the treasures. He kept the fishing rod and kept the yin-yang dragon pearls from the bodies of the two dragons. Then, he sealed the two dragon souls into the sealing pot. Li Long, on the other hand, had already separated the sea and came to Ning Fan's side to protect him. He would not allow anyone to snatch the treasures from him. Hee. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect this. The yin-yang dragon that no one had fished for millions of years has been caught by someone again. How rare. The old fox sovereign and the old chi sovereign withdrew their greedy expressions and returned to their seats. Their facial expressions had already returned to normal. The old Yuan emperor also gradually withdrew his excited expression. He returned to his seat with an undisguised smile on his face. Now that Ning Fan had fished up the yin-yang dragon pearls, he could use them to heal his injuries. To him, it couldn't be any better. This Bai Mu's luck is truly heaven-defying. It seems like it's most likely a purple luck. The old primitive emperor was both impressed and envious. Purple-colored luck was extremely rare. Since Ning Fan possessed such a powerful luck, he would certainly encounter more opportunities in his path of cultivation compared to ordinary people. He fished out the yin-yang dragon ball. He Shishio had a complicated look on his face. He didn't want Ning Fan's to obtain such a precious treasure, but no matter what, Ning Fan's was the helper invited by the little demoness, so he would go with her to get the map. Obtaining the yin-yang dragon ball could be considered as reducing the difficulty of passing that level. Perhaps it was a good thing. It would be great if I could fish out the yin-yang dragon pearl. I'm not far from breaking through to the 6th level. If I had the dragon pearl, Yunyomu laughed at himself. He was laughing because he actually did not know that Ning Fan's luck was so strong. Li Long was very proud. He was proud that his master had fished up the yin-yang dragon pearl that countless people dreamed of. Master definitely has purple luck. Li Long was convinced. As the sun rose in the east, the last trace of darkness finally dissipated. When dawn arrived, the dragon fishing convention was finally coming to an end. Ning Fan heaved a sigh of relief and sat cross-legged on the ground. He closed his eyes and rested, waiting for the dragon fishing convention to end. He did not continue fishing for dragons. Since his luck was strong, he had already fished out most of the dragon souls that had dragon pearls. There were only a few dragon souls left and most of them did not have dragon pearls. Thus, there was no value in fishing anymore. The yin-yang dragon pearl was already in his hands. That was enough. With these 2 dragon pearls, the risk of helping the little demoness obtain the map would be much lower. Before leaving the demon world, he could still borrow the power of these 2 dragon pearls to completely restore the demon soul of the old Yuan emperor and return the favor to him. After obtaining the map, Ning Fan's cultivation base would certainly skyrocket if he devoured these 2 dragon pearls. One should know that Ning Fan was an ancient god with 1 aperture. To him, devouring a yin-yang dragon pearl could increase his magic power by 100,000 yuan instead of 50,000 yuan. Now that I've obtained the dragon pearls, it's about time for me to leave the demon world. Ning Fan estimated that the appearance-changing pill would lose its effect in a few days. It was about time for him to leave. On the 4 jade platforms, countless cultivators were discussing among themselves. All of them were talking about something related to Ning Fan. In this dragon fishing convention, Ning Fan ranked first in terms of the number of dragon souls and dragon pearls he fished. Moreover, he fished the yin-yang dragon pearl. No one could compare to him. On the eastern jade platform, the mysterious man who wore a thick cloak was wearing a jealous expression. Damn it! This fake Baimu actually fished so many dragon souls and dragon pearls. He even fished out the yin-yang dragon pearl that no one has managed to fish for millions of years. I'm the real Baimu. All of these things should belong to me. No one knew that this mysterious man in a cloak was the real old ancestor of the Light Feather clan, Baimu. He had the green yang physique, which was one of the 7 yang physiques. He would not be happy without women. He had committed many evil deeds and was once expelled from the clan. His combat power was low and he was the weakest among those who were at the same level as him. Moreover, he was often tortured and hunted down by those who were at a higher cultivation level than him. He was once hunted by the leader of the Black Crane clan and nearly died. When he was recuperating, he met Chen Huang of the Yellow Dragon clan by chance and acknowledged him as his master. Originally, he planned to expose Ning Fan's identity after meeting up with Chen Huang. Then, he would use Chen Huang's deterrence to take away all of Ning Fan's opportunities. The star stones, the broken 7 servants and everything else. He wanted to take everything away. Unfortunately, Chen Huang's son had yet to show up. He did not dare to challenge Ning Fan alone. Seeing Ning Fan using his name to fish for countless dragon souls and dragon pearls, he was envious but he could not do anything about it. Why isn't my son here yet? If my son is here, he can just ask this fake Baimu for the yin-yang dragon pearl and the star stones with his reputation. The fake Baimu certainly would not dare to disobey him. After all, which demon cultivator in the lower world would dare to disobey a cultivator from the upper world? My son, why aren't you here yet? If you don't come, the dragon fishing convention will end soon. Perhaps the fake Baimu will leave. My son, come quickly. Let's snatch all of the fake Baimu's items together. My son, hurry up. The dragon fishing convention will end in the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. My son, where are you? Come back quickly. The cloaked man's heart was really burning with anxiety. He almost wanted to kneel on the ground and pray. Just as he was feeling anxious, he suddenly saw a massive dragon-shaped formation mark appear in the sky. The formation mark was dark yellow. The moment it appeared, the cloaked man was overjoyed. This is the formation mark of the lower world that only the Yellow Dragon clan has. I have seen my son descend to the lower world with this formation mark. I've seen it before. My son is here. My son is here to deal with the fake Baimu with me. Ha! My son is finally here. The cloaked man sneered. Green light flashed in his eyes. Even though the formation mark had already appeared, it would still take around 100 breaths for the teleportation to be completed. The cloaked man could no longer wait. After all, he would have the support of his son in another 100 breaths. At this moment, he was full of confidence. Even if he were to face a rogue demon, he would still have the guts to scold him. Baimu, die for me. He shouted pretentiously. Using his second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivation base, he leaped up from the jade platform and stood in the sky, looking down at the living beings below. At this moment, the teleportation runes of the Yellow Dragon clan appeared in the sky, shocking countless cultivators. Just as many old monsters were wondering about the members of the Yellow Dragon clan descending to the lower worlds, they suddenly saw a void fragmentation realm cultivator wearing a cloak jump out from the lower worlds and speak arrogantly. He actually wanted Ning Fan to die. The Yellow Dragon clan's upper demons are about to descend. Are they here to watch the dragon fishing convention? Who is this cloaked man? Even though he is a void fragmentation realm old monster, he is only at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Why does he dare to challenge old ancestor Baimu? The moment the Yellow Dragon clan's lower realm formation pattern appeared, the old primitive emperor's eyes turned cold while Tan Zixin became nervous. Tan Zixin was feeling anxious for Ning Fan. She knew that the Yellow Dragon clan most likely harbored malicious intentions when they descended to the lower worlds this time. It was highly likely that they were here to seek revenge for Chen Huang. Are they here to deal with Senior Bai Mu? Oh no, Senior Bai Mu is in danger. Just as Tan Zixin was worrying about Ning Fan, she suddenly heard a cloaked man provoking Ning Fan. Her beautiful eyes darkened. Who is this person? Why is he shouting at Senior Whitewood? As soon as he saw the Yellow Dragon clan's formation pattern appearing in the sky, Li Long's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. However, he did not pay too much attention to it. Naturally, he did not know that Ning Fan had killed the dragon's son Chen Huang. This group of experts of the Yellow Dragon clan was here for Ning Fan. However, when he saw a cultivator with 2 broken bones speaking arrogantly to Ning Fan, Li Long's eyes were filled with rage. Is my master someone that anyone can provoke? Ning Fan rose to his feet and his eyes turned cold. There was no need to guess the reason why the experts of the Yellow Dragon clan descended to the lower worlds. They were most likely here for Chen Huang. Putting aside the experts of the Yellow Dragon clan, who was this cloaked man? Why did he provoke Ning Fan for no reason? With a leap, Ning Fan flew up to the clouds and stared at the cloaked man from a distance of 10,000 zhang. Who are you? Ning Fan asked. You're asking me who I am? Ha! Who do you think I am? Who do you think I am? The cloaked man suddenly lifted his head and laughed heartily. Then, he abruptly removed his cloak. Who do you think I am? I want to ask you who you are. I am the old ancestor of the Light Feather clan, Bai Mu. What exactly are your intentions by impersonating my identity and sneaking into Tianyuan City? I'll give you 3 breaths. Give me all the dragon souls, dragon balls and 10 pieces of star stones that you've fished up. Also, give me your 7 broken slaves. Then, I can forgive your crime of impersonating me. Otherwise, when the dragon's son Chen Huang from the upper worlds arrives, you, the fake Bai Mu, will certainly die. When he was speaking, his eyes were constantly flashing with green rays of light that carried scorching yang power. His words entered the ears of countless people, causing their expressions to turn strange. Ning Fan is the fake Bai Mu. Is this cloaked man the real Bai Mu? No one knew who was the real one. They only knew that it was a foolish act for a second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator to provoke Ning Fan. Ning Fan himself was already strong enough to defeat all cultivators at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Moreover, he had his 7 broken slaves and had a close relationship with the Yuan Palace. Whether Ning Fan was Bai Mu or not, he was not someone that this cloaked man could provoke. At first, Ning Fan wanted to raise his hand and kill the cloaked man. However, when he saw the green yang power in the man's eyes, he was slightly stunned. This is the green yang physique. Now that a person with the 7 yang physique had delivered himself to his doorstep, how could he not accept him? However, judging from the cloaked man's words, he seemed to be the real Bai Mu. The one that he was impersonating was him. What Bai Mu said revealed a lot of information. He was acquainted with Chen Huang and they came for the star stones. All of a sudden, Ning Fan understood something. Before he killed Chen Huang that day, Chen Huang firmly believed that Ning Fan was not Bai Mu and asked for the star stones of the Light Feather clan. It turned out that there was a reason behind it. Chen Huang was in cahoots with this Bai Mu. Of course, he knew that Ning Fan could not be Bai Mu. However, he did not know if this group of cultivators from the Yellow Dragon clan who borrowed the formation marks to descend to the lower worlds was also in cahoots with Bai Mu. However, it seemed like Bai Mu was still unaware that Chen Huang was already dead. How dare you! How dare you act so presumptuously in the dragon fishing convention organized by the Palace of Origin? Seeing that you are a void fragmentation realm expert, I won't hold you accountable for disrupting the convention if you leave now. Great Elder Zhou Nan led 4 void fragmentation realm experts of the void fragmentation realm of the Origin Palace and flew towards Ning Fan. They surrounded Jin Bai Mu and each of them glared at him. Palace of Origin? In my eyes, what is the Palace of Origin? Do you know who my master is? My master is the dignified dragon son of the Yellow Dragon clan, Chen Huang. Everyone, please take a look at the formation marks in the sky. I believe many of you know that these are the formation marks of the lower worlds that only the Yellow Dragon clan has. Hee hee. My master, Qing Huang, is about to descend to the Heaven Origin realm with the help of the formation marks. He is here to help me deal with the fake Bai Mu. The cloaked man's words caused countless cultivators to gasp in shock. No one cared about who was the real Bai Mu and who was the fake Bai Mu. After all, Bai Mu was not a popular person. He had a terrible reputation. If it wasn't because of Ning Fan's strength, his name would not have spread across the demon world. However, what everyone was concerned about was that the cloaked man was actually the demon servant of the dragon son of the upper worlds. Moreover, he even invited the cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan to deal with Ning Fan. The formation marks in the sky could not be faked. What the cloaked man said was probably true. He really invited the members of the Yellow Dragon clan to deal with Ning Fan. I didn't expect such an unforeseen event to happen at the end of the dragon fishing convention. The real and fake Bai Mu, the intervention of the Yellow Dragon clan. Some old monsters whispered to each other. Just as they began to discuss among themselves, everyone suddenly became silent. It was because the formation marks of the Yellow Dragon clan in the sky suddenly flashed and emitted a million rays of light, condensing into a dark yellow realm gate. The realm gate opened and hundreds of experts of the Yellow Dragon clan walked out of it. The ones leading them were actually 4 rogue demons. Who is Bai Mu? The leader of the group was a rogue demon. He wore a yellow demon armor and had a head full of white hair. His eyes were filled with monstrous rage. His cold shout caused the entire city to fall into dead silence. Esteemed demon, this lowly one is Bai Mu. I wonder where is Qing Huang Longzi? Why don't I see him? The real Bai Mu wore an incomparably proud expression. He stepped on the sky and flew towards the large group of experts of the Yellow Dragon clan. His expression seemed like he wanted to show off to all the experts in the city how strong his backer was. For rogue demons. For rogue demons. Oh my god. Qing Huang has brought so many people with him. Let alone snatching the fake Bai Mu, even massacring a few demon palaces would be a piece of cake for them. The real Bai Mu excitedly walked towards the rogue demon. He did not realize how great the killing intent in the rogue demon's eyes was. Are you Bai Mu? Hee hee. You still dare to ask me where Qing Huang is? I want to ask you, who gave you the guts to kill Qing Huang? I'm going to tear you into a million pieces. The rogue demon suddenly raised his finger and pointed at the fake Bai Mu. He only used 30% of his demon power in that finger attack. However, it was enough to kill a second heavenly layer void fragmentation realm cultivator 10 times over. That one finger attack turned into yellow demon flames that filled the sky. They carried boundless killing intent, causing the real Bai Mu's face to turn pale. What's going on? What's going on? Why are the experts of the Yellow Dragon clan attacking me? How did this happen? Chapter 653. Bai Mu was dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. He had rushed over excitedly to curry favor with the cultivator of the Yellow Dragon clan. He did not expect that the other party would want to kill him as soon as he arrived. Bai Mu's heart was filled with grievance. He didn't know why all of this had happened. He was clearly Qing Longzi's demon servant and a member of the Yellow Dragon clan. Why was he attacked by the Yellow Dragon clan? Wait, what did that loose demon senior say just now? At this moment, Bai Mu gradually came back to his senses. The itinerant demon's question replayed in his mind. Who gave you the guts to kill Qing Huang? The audacity of a dog, will kill me, killed, death, what? Could it be that Qing Longzi met with an accident and perished, and this senior suspects that I killed Qing Longzi, so he attacked me? I'm innocent. Senior, please listen to me. Qing Longzi was not harmed by me. I can make a great Dao heart oath. Faced with the demon fire that blotted out the sky, Bai Mu felt that his life was hanging by a thread. He actually knelt down with a plop and started begging Yao Jia Loose Demon. Yao Jia Loose Demon was stunned. He pointed a finger and stopped the demonic fire's attack temporarily. He looked at Bai Mu doubtfully. His name was Forefather Ascending Firmament, and he was Qing Huang's senior. The reason why he attacked first was because he was angry. But now that he saw the so-called whitewood with his own eyes, he could not help but calm down. Something's not right. Bai Mu in front of him was merely at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Moreover, it was obvious that he had indulged too much in debauchery and his qi was weak. With just a glance, Bai Mu could tell that this person's strength was pitifully weak. He should not have the strength to kill Qing Huang. Qing Huang was one of the 12 dragon sons of the Yellow Dragon clan in the upper realm. How could it be killed by such a weakling? Looking at Bai Mu's wronged expression, Patriarch Qing Shao could not help but feel nervous. Could it be that he had found the wrong person? Could it be that this person was not Bai Mu, the murderer of Qing Huang? Are you sure you didn't harm Qing Huang? Forefather Qing Shao tried to suppress his anger and asked coldly. No, it's not me, it's really not me. Bai Mu heaved a sigh of relief. It looked like this senior did not intend to kill him immediately. He still had a chance to explain himself. Then let me ask you, do you know who Bai Mu is? Senior, I'm Bai Mu. Bai Mu chuckled apologetically, and his expression was filled with flattery, as if he was afraid that he would offend this senior. Unexpectedly, this sentence was like a spark falling into a pile of hay, immediately igniting Ancestor Skyride's anger. At that moment, Patriarch Skyride could no longer be bothered to listen to Bai Mu's sophistry. You're clearly Bai Mu. Why are you still spouting nonsense with this old man? The Yellow Dragon clan's Dragon Grudge tablet shows that the one who killed Qing Huang was Bai Mu. Since you are Bai Mu, then die. Without saying a word, Old Ancestor Ascending Firmament pointed his finger again, and a deep yellow sea of flames instantly submerged the white wood. Bai Mu had the urge to vomit blood. What did he hear? Old Ancestor Qing Shao actually said that the dragon's resentment monument showed that the one who killed Qing Huang was Bai Mu. Fuck. All of a sudden, Bai Mu's mind seemed to have been enlightened. All of a sudden, he looked at Ning Fan with an extremely wronged expression. He understood now. It must be Ning Fan who used his name to kill Qing Longzi. I've been tricked. I've been tricked. If he knew that Qing Longzi was already dead and if he knew that Qing Longzi was coming for Bai Mu, he would not admit that he was Bai Mu unless he was out of his mind. I'm not Bai Mu. I'm really not Bai Mu. He is Bai Mu. He is. I'm Qing Longzi's demon servant. We're on the same side. Bai Mu pointed at Ning Fan. He only had time to explain himself. At the next moment, he let out a blood-curdling shriek and died in the sea of flames. The demon's soul was burned to ashes, but the corpse was not burned to ashes. The charcoal-like corpse fell from the sky and was kept away by Ning Fan with a flick of his sleeve. The green yang body was the weakest of the 7 yang bodies. However, the physical body of the green yang body was very durable. Unless the yang power in the body is exhausted, it would be very difficult to destroy the corpse. Even if a cultivator with the green yang body dies, their corpse would not rot even after tens of thousands of years without any protection. Old Ancestor Skyride's expression changed slightly. His eyes turned to Ning Fan angrily. Did he kill the wrong person? Is this person the one who killed Qing Huang? Old Ancestor Skyride stood in the sky. His sharp eyes swept across the crowd and asked all of a sudden. Who is Bai Mu? Many old monsters lowered their heads and did not answer him. A few old monsters secretly shifted their gazes to Ning Fan. This young man's cultivation base is just at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. How could he be Bai Mu? Qing Huang has already broken through to the 3rd heavenly layer. How could he be killed by a mere void fragmentation realm junior in the lower world? Old ancestor Skyride wore a doubtful look. He did not believe it. However, his principle had always been that Ning Fan would never let go of a single person who was wrongly killed. Before he came to the lower world, he had already decided to slaughter every single person with the name Bai Mu in the demon world. It was not considered as killing the wrong person. Regardless of whether the Bai Mu in front of him was the one who killed Qin Huang or not, he just needed to capture his demon's soul and search it. Then, he would know everything. If this person was really the one who killed Qin Huang, killing him could be considered as avenging Qin Huang. If he did not kill Qin Huang, then he would be killing the wrong person. But so what? 200 dragon guards. Go and capture this person. Search his soul and memory. Old ancestor Skyride stood with his hands clasped behind his back. After killing Bai Mu just now, his anger had subsided slightly. Now, he actually disdained to attack Ning Fan, who was just a void fragmentation realm cultivator, because of his identity. As soon as the 200 void refinement realm experts with dragon horns and 7 first heavenly layer void fragmentation realm experts behind him heard old ancestor Skyride's order, they immediately prepared to attack Ning Fan. Before they could take action, 2 voices suddenly resounded in the sky above Tianyuan City. Stop! The 2 voices belonged to young women. All of a sudden, 2 beautiful figures appeared in front of Ning Fan, shielding him behind their backs. One of them was Tan Zixin while the other one was Little Demoness. Little Demoness had also brought along hundreds of women from the Light Feather clan. All of them stood behind Ning Fan. Even though the eyes of these women were filled with fear, they glared at the cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan without hesitation. They wanted to protect Ning Fan. Seeing that Ning Fan was in trouble, Tan Zixin acted on impulse and stood in front of Ning Fan unconsciously. Little Demoness, on the other hand, had no choice but to step forward and protect Ning Fan when she saw that the enemy was quite powerful. Even with Little Demoness' personality, her black eyes could not help but darken slightly at this moment. She did not expect that there would be 4 rogue demons from the upper world who came to find trouble with Ning Fan. Even though she knew that Ning Fan was not weak, she absolutely did not believe that he could deal with such a huge problem by himself. As such, she had no choice but to step forward. If she was at her peak, she could fight against 4 rogue demons from the Yellow Dragon clan on her own. Unfortunately, due to the drawbacks of the Void Scripture, her cultivation base was currently in a period of decline, falling to the Harmonious Spirit realm. Even though she had trump cards that allowed her to barely protect herself when facing the rogue demons, it was impossible for her to defeat 4 rogue demons with her current strength. If they insist on killing Ning Fan, she would have no choice but to run away with him. There was absolutely no chance of winning against 4 rogue demons. However, she would never allow them to hurt Ning Fan. Why did you guys come out? Ning Fan frowned slightly, but his heart felt warm. Even though the 4 rogue demons were powerful, Ning Fan had never thought of asking for help. However, there were so many unexpected people who stood up for him when he was facing a disaster. Hua Yu and the others had low cultivation bases. They might not even be able to withstand the aftermath of a void fragmentation realm battle, but they insisted on standing behind him to protect him. Tan Zixin did not have much interaction with him, but she also stood up for him when he was in a crisis. Especially Little Demoness. Little Demoness' identity was special enough to intimidate many 4 Heavens Old monsters. However, to the Yellow Dragon clan, it was difficult for this identity to intimidate them. Perhaps, they would even be attacked by the Yellow Dragon clan because of this special identity. The 4 Heavens Immortal World was the place where most of the cultivators from the profound sects ascended. Even though there were demon cultivators and devil cultivators, they were not the mainstream. The Demon Spirit Land was the place where most of the demon cultivators ascended. Even though there were also profound sects and devil cultivators, they were not the mainstream. The Demon Spirit Land and the 4 Heavens Immortal World were hostile forces. Every 1,000 years, the 2 of them would have a realm war. Each time, countless cultivators would fall. Each of the 4 Heavens Immortal World had a strongest force. They were the main force in every realm war. The Northern Heaven Lost World Palace, the Western Heaven Kunlun Jade Pool, the Southern Heaven Purple Mansion Academy, the Eastern Heaven Godly Void Pavilion. When he Shishio came to the demon realm, he dared to reveal his identity as the Taoist of the Jade Dao sect to the demon emperor of the mortal world. This was because the Jade Dao sect could barely be considered a medium force in the four heavens. It would not attract the attention of the enemy world. However, the little demon girl was different. Her identity could not be announced casually, as it could easily lead to assassination by the enemy. Therefore, she did not enter the demon world in a high-profile manner. Instead, she just disguised herself as Ning Fan's Dao companion. Therefore, even in the Rain world, she did not let the Rain Sovereign know her identity. If the four yellow dragon loose demons knew about the little demon girl's special identity, it was very likely that they would capture the little demon girl and bring her back to the demon spirit land to ask for credit from the true spirit clans. The little demon girl was the one who should not have stood out the most, but she did. Ning Fan looked deeply at the little demoness, and the little demoness giggled at him. Hee, what are you looking at? I am your Dao companion. How could I not help you when you are in trouble? Ning Fan turned around and looked at Hua Yu and the other white-feathered ladies. All of the women stood on the cloud, and some of them lowered their heads with flushed faces, while others puffed out their chests proudly, as if to say that the women of the Light Wing clan had a backbone and would not run away. Ning Fan then turned to look at Tan Zixin. Tan Zixin seemed to be at a loss as to what to do. Zixin saw that Senior Bai Mu is in trouble. I want to help Senior. Tan Zixin cast a pleading look at her father and grandfather. She might not be able to help Ning Fan, but the Palace of Origin behind her could. Yuan Sovereign let out a sigh and transmitted a message to the Void Fragmentation Realm experts of the Palace of Origin beside him. Each of the old monsters of the Palace of Origin immediately got into a battle stance, ready to take action at any time. The old primitive emperor stood up with his hands behind his back, staring coldly at the cultivators of the Yellow Dragon tribe. Li Long also walked to the front, looking like he was ready to fight to the death for his master. What do you lower realm cultivators want to do? Do you want to fight against my Yellow Dragon race for the sake of Bai Mu? Yes. Old ancestor Cheng Shao looked at the old primitive emperor with a threatening look in his eyes. Hua Yu and the others had low cultivations, so he didn't take them seriously. The little demoness only revealed her harmonious spirit cultivation, so he did not put her in his eyes. Tan Zixin had yet to attain the void refinement realm, so there was nothing to be afraid of. Even though Li Long was at the 7th fragmentation realm, old ancestor Cheng Shao also did not put him in his eyes. In the entire Heaven Origin City, there were only 3 loose demons who could make old ancestor Cheng Shao slightly fearful. At this moment, among the 3 loose demons, 2 of them remained silent. They did not dare to intervene in the matters of the Yellow Dragon race. Only the old primitive emperor stood out, as if he wanted to protect Ning Fan. Even though I am a cultivator of the lower realm, I won't allow the cultivators of the upper realm to bully me. Bai Mu is my good friend. If you dare to attack him, I will use all the strength of the Palace of Origin to fight against you. Tan Tianyan's eyes were equally sharp. Why would he be afraid of old ancestor Cheng Zhao's threat? He certainly would not watch Ning Fan be in danger. However, he also knew that the Yellow Dragon race had sent out all their experts this time. They actually sent out 4 loose demons to deal with Ning Fan. Even when he was at his peak, he could not defeat 4 loose demons on his own. Now that his demon soul was separated and his cultivation base was greatly damaged, it was even more impossible for him to win. If he helps Ning Fan, this battle would certainly turn the entire Tian Yuan continent into a river of blood. The Palace of Origin would be in danger of being destroyed. It was really unwise. If he does not help Ning Fan, Tan Tianyan's cultivation of the Tao in this life would be in vain. What he hated the most in his life was those who bullied the weak, especially the Yellow Dragon race, which was a demon race from the upper realm who thought highly of themselves. Moreover, his granddaughter was already standing in front of Ning Fan. It was even more impossible for him to stand aside and watch. Old Monster Tan, it's not wise to make the yellow dragon race your enemy. Bai Mu has offended the yellow dragon race. He won't be able to escape death today. Why do you want to sacrifice the entire palace of origin just for him? The old fox sovereign and the old cheese sovereign advised. Both of them definitely would not dare to go against the yellow dragon race. There's no need to say anything more. I know what I'm doing. Where are the cultivators of the Palace of Origin? The old primitive emperor took a step forward. It was just a step, but he would follow Ning Fan through life and death. He had already stepped on life and death and had seen through life and death. As soon as he took that step, his entire aura force suddenly changed. His eyes shone with blood-red light, making him look like a peerless ferocious beast that had slaughtered countless people. His voice echoed across the entire Heaven Primordial City and the entire Heaven Primordial Continent. At this moment, billions of cultivators of the Palace of Origin, be they Void Fragmentation Realm experts or Vein Opening Realm cultivators, responded to him. Your subordinate is here. Who will fight the Yellow Dragon race with me? The old Primordial Emperor looked at the sky with a cold smile and asked the entire Heaven Primordial Continent for the second time. We are all willing. What's there to fear even if we die? What's there to fear even if we die? What's there to fear even if we die? To be a demon, one must have an indomitable spirit. Before the primordial era, demons were the rulers of all time, and demons were the rulers of billions of worlds. Immortal Sovereign Zido, whose name shook a billion worlds, was a demon cultivator. How would a true demon be afraid of death? How dare you? Old Ancestor Cheng Shao was enraged and felt humiliated. He was a dignified demon cultivator from the upper realm, but he was actually being looked down upon by the demon cultivators from the lower realm. There were actually so many people who dared to go against him. It seemed like he had to teach these people a lesson and let them know how terrifying the cultivators from the upper realm were. Old Ancestor Cheng Shao made up his mind. Today, Ning Fan must die. All the cultivators of the entire Heaven Primordial Continent who resist him must die as well. He transmitted his voice to the other 3 loose demons of the Yellow Dragon clan and secretly gave an order to all the cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan. Kill Ning Fan first and then bathe the entire Heaven Primordial Continent in blood. Yun Yomu's eyes were filled with worry. At this moment, he had already flown out of the dragon-raising pond with Gong Yangzi and Xianhua, arriving beside He Shishio. The cultivators in the pond had long lost their interest in fishing for dragons. All of them flew out of the pond and fled from this troublesome place. Yun Yomu had been planted with a demon seal. If Ning Fan dies, he would die together with him. Daoist child, the successor of the divine void realm has already shown up. Should we show up together and help Bai Mu? Yun Yomu tried to persuade him. Let's wait and see. He Shishio's face was already as pale as a sheet. The foundation of the Jade Dao sect was limited. Even though he was the Daoist child of the sect and had some methods to protect himself, it was not enough to fight against the loose demons. Even though he had the intention to pursue the little demoness and use her identity to seek a better future, he did not dare to risk his life for her and become enemies with the 4 loose demons. He already harbored enmity towards Ning Fan in the first place. It was just that he had to endure it for the sake of obtaining the map. He was not Ning Fan's friend anyway. Why should he get involved in this mess for Ning Fan? Yun Yomu sighed. Since He Shishio was unwilling to help, he had no choice but to help Ning Fan himself. Even though it was difficult for him to help Ning Fan with his current cultivation base, his life and death were already tied together with Ning Fan. It was impossible for him to watch Ning Fan die. At this moment, countless old monsters lowered their heads as if this matter had nothing to do with them. Some of them even began to have their own plans, wondering if they should help the Yellow Dragon clan to fight against Ning Fan and the Palace of Yuan. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that the group of cultivators from the Yellow Dragon clan with 4 strong loose demons was almost able to suppress the Palace of Yuan. Today, the old Yuan sovereign was probably going to shed blood in the heaven primordial realm. Today, there might only be 9 sovereigns left among the 10 sovereigns of the demon world. Those who wanted to fish in troubled waters were naturally eager to take action. Ning Fan spread his spirit sense far and wide. Everyone's expression was captured in his eyes. No one thought that he could defeat the Yellow Dragon clan. No one thought that he could fight against the 4 loose demons. Even if it was Tan Zixin who personally gave the fish to Ning Fan, she did not have any confidence at all. Immortal grade spirit iron, dragon suppressing spirit iron. Tan Zixin wasn't sure how powerful it was. Ever since Ning Fan obtained the Great Elder fishing technique, he was already deeply aware of its power. As long as the Life Immortal Realm cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan did not come out, Ning Fan was confident that he could eliminate all the cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan no matter how many of them there were. He would use today's battle to test the power of Tai Gong fishing. He would use today's battle to turn the Yellow Dragon cultivators into rivers of blood. Ning Fan's eyes flickered with cold light. He walked forward step by step, passing the 2 ladies and Li Long. I alone am enough for this battle. You don't have to do anything. Step by step, he walked toward the Yellow Dragon cultivators and stopped 100,000 zhang away. The expressions of old Yuan Emperor, Li Long, Tan Zixin, the little Demoness, and Hua Yu changed. Every single person who heard Ning Fan's words that were close to arrogance changed their expressions. They really wanted to know what kind of ability Ning Fan had that made him dare to say such a thing. He wanted to fight against the group of dragons alone. Old Ancestor Cheng Xiao's eyes turned extremely gloomy. He initially thought that the group of cultivators from the Origin Palace who dared to go against the Yellow Dragon clan were already considered arrogant. Unexpectedly, Ning Fan was even more arrogant and wanted to fight all of them alone. He had lived for nearly 100,000 years. It was his first time being looked down upon by a junior who was at the level of the Broken Realm. This old man has really opened my eyes today. There are really a lot of people in the lower world who have guts but no brains. Commander Su, go and kill this brat. As soon as old Ancestor Cheng Xiao gave the order, a red-horned burly man immediately walked out of the formation and walked toward Ning Fan. He had the strength of a Broken Realm expert. From old Ancestor Cheng Xiao's point of view, sending Commander Su to kill Ning Fan was enough. Are you Bai Mu? You're just so. How dare you plot against the dragon son of my clan and speak such nonsense to the demon cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan? Today, I will teach you a lesson and let you know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Commander Su's ferocious smile was still hanging on his face. All of a sudden, he stopped in his tracks and his expression froze forever. A ray of cold golden sword light flashed across the sky like a cold star that cut across the universe. That cold light slashed down from Commander Su's head. At the next moment, he was split into 2 halves from the middle. Even his demon soul was killed. A single sword strike. At this moment, Ning Fan held a golden sword in his hand and pointed it at Commander Su's corpse. He only needed to use a ray of sword light to kill this person with Emperor Xia's sword. Who else wants to die? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with red light. At this moment, his baleful qi spread across the entire city and dyed the sky of the Tian Yuan continent red. How dare you! How dare you kill my younger brother? One of the commanders at the Broken Realm roared and charged at Ning Fan furiously. Ning Fan took a step forward and turned into black robes. He raised his hand and extracted the soul, shattering the hollow space. At this moment, his aura force rose to the Broken Realm. He held the sword in his right hand and formed a hand seal with his left hand. Silver light shone from the heavens. Suddenly, 4 huge silver vortexes appeared in front, behind, and to the left of the 3rd commander. Each of the 4 silver vortexes shot out silver light from the heavens and connected with each other like a cross. The commander was caught off guard. His body was penetrated by the silver light that came from all directions. Even though he was not injured, he was pinned at the intersection of the silver light. This was one of the techniques of the whirlpool technique. It was called intersecting whirlpool. With Ning Fan's whirlpool technique, it was not enough to trap the commander for too long. At most, it could only trap him for a moment. This moment was already enough. He tapped the tip of his foot and his body turned into a ray of cold sword light that flashed across the sky. He became one with his sword and pierced through the physical body of the commander, piercing his demon soul into Emperor Xia's sword. A cultivator at the Broken Realm was killed with a single sword strike. The intersecting whirlpool and the cold star sword. This young man isn't an ordinary Broken Realm cultivator. But so what? All of you attack together and tear him into a million pieces. Old ancestor Cheng Shao was extremely furious. As soon as he gave the order, all the members of the Yellow Dragon clan that he brought with him this time except for the rogue demons charged at Ning Fan. Among them, there were a total of 37 Void Fragmentation Realm experts. The rest of them were at least at the Absolute Void Realm. Among the 37 Void Fragmentation Realm cultivators, there were 6 at the 6th realm and 10 at the 5th realm. With Bai Mu's strength, killing 3 Broken Realm cultivators is already his limit. For Broken Realm cultivators will definitely be a tough battle. 5 Broken Realm cultivators will definitely have no chance of winning. It's time for me to lend him a hand. Just as the old primitive emperor was about to attack, his expression suddenly changed. Just when everyone thought that it was impossible for Ning Fan to fight against cultivators at the 5th and 6th realm, he made his move. He kept his Emperor Xia's sword and took out a purple gold fishing rod. The fishing rod was 24 zhang long and there were 24 mysterious constellations carved on it. It shone with bright demonic light and suddenly turned into a purple gold snake spear. Moreover, there were traces of dragon-suppressing aura coming from the snake spear. Under the aura of the dragon-suppressing aura, all the demon cultivators including the 4 rogue demons of the Yellow Dragon clan were filled with fear. Dragon. Dragon suppressing. This is the Immortal Realm Spirit Augmentation Technique. It can instantly kill all dragon cultivators below the Life Immortal Realm. Not good. With this treasure in hand, this young man can kill all the weak members of the true dragon clan who have no Life Immortal Realm cultivators. Retreat quickly. Each of the experts of the Yellow Dragon clan who were charging at Ning Fan with a hideous smile instantly revealed a look of fear. 4 of them retreated. However, it was already too late for them to retreat now. As soon as Ning Fan activated his ability, the purple gold snake spear immediately grew to 1 million zhang long. The body of the spear became illusory. With a single move that could wipe out 1,000 armies, groups of experts of the Yellow Dragon clan were killed by the snake spear in the sky. Countless experts of the Yellow Dragon clan took out their defensive magic treasures and summoned their protective dragon scales. Even so, none of them could withstand the might of the spear at all. After the spear turned illusory, it could directly penetrate all defensive means without damaging any magic treasures. It could only kill dragon cultivators. Roar, 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 horrifying dragon roars resounded in the sky, lingering in everyone's ears. In just a single exchange, all the cultivators of the Yellow Dragon clan were killed except for the 4 rogue demons of the Yellow Dragon clan. Dragon. Dragon suppressing technique. How could he possibly have such a technique? Old ancestor Cheng Shao's eyes narrowed. A feeling of certain death rose in his heart. Without hesitation, he took out a small green shield and placed it in front of him. At the next moment, a purple gold illusory spear light pierced through the small shield and penetrated his dantian. With just a single strike, his dantian was pierced through and his demon soul was penetrated. Ning Fan wielded the purple gold snake spear and nailed old ancestor Cheng Shao to death in the sky. For a moment, the entire Tianyuan city fell into dead silence. As for the other 3 rogue demons of the Yellow Dragon clan, they turned around and fled in terror. As for the cultivators of the Dragon clan who were below the Life Immortal Realm, becoming enemies with a cultivator who possessed a dragon-suppressing treasure was no different from courting death. don't you think it's too late to leave? Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out a battle cloud talisman. Then, he stuck it on his chest. In an instant, his speed became slightly faster than the 3 rogue demons of the Yellow Dragon clan and he chased after them. Seeing Ning Fan's heaven-defying speed, the 3 rogue demons of the Yellow Dragon clan immediately felt their souls leaving their bodies. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.